Hey guys, Sean here. Welcome to the F1 Word Live and to the qualifying watch-along for the 2019 Italian Grand Prix. Something which dawned on me this morning. The last race of the European leg. Given how, in air quotes, boring the first half of this season was, how quickly is this year going? I'm not going to get back into that one, like a proper old man rant about how quickly time seems to go. Lots to get through in the build-up to qualifying, which of course starts in about, or exactly half an hour from now. 2 o'clock UK time, 3 o'clock local time, I think. No rain is forecast for the session, by the way, and there's still question marks over the weather for tomorrow. But we're going to be talking a little bit about Formula 3 to kick things off in just a moment. We'll be joined by Dan and talk about that insane accident this morning for Alex Peroni. Absolutely horrible accident at Parabolica. There is also a rather concerning update about Juan Manuel Correa, but then we will get into the FP3 talk and the build-up to qualifying as well. But I'm going to kick things off. I'm going to need headphones. I need to put my headphones on, Sean. You need to remember to do this. Seamless as always on this flipping channel. Let's see if we can get Dan in and say a very good afternoon to Dan. Good afternoon, Dan. Are you ready for quali, mate? Have we got Dan? I think we're losing Dan here for some reason. We'll try again. Are you there, Dan? For some reason, It's not letting me put you in a recording tab.
That's right. Is that all good now? We all good?
Yes, we're all good. This is going seamlessly, brilliantly as always.
Good start. Hi, mate. You're right.
Yeah, not bad. Not bad at all. Are you ready for quali? Bit of excitement.
I think so. Yeah, I don't usually watch practice. Well, I watch practice, but I usually, I'm on my phone and whatnot. But especially practice one, there were some real incidents in that one. So the build-up's going nice and well. I know today there's not any rain expected, but maybe tomorrow. So yeah, the weekend's looking like it's going to be a good one.
I'm hoping so. I mean, the weather tomorrow was supposed to be wet. Everyone was talking about how it's going to be wet, and that's that. And then it was supposed to be dry, and now there's talk that it's going to be even worse than they'd originally forecast. So I would like a dry race. Germany was fun and all that, but I quite like a dry race because this could be Ferrari's last chance of a win between now and the end of the season. And I think they could probably do with it at Monza, and they could certainly do with a second win this season. So maybe in the minority there, perhaps.
Maybe. I mean, don't get me wrong. I think what we all want is just a really chaotic race. That's always a lot of fun. But I think even what you say there, I mean, we've got Verstappen starting from the back, Norris starting from the back. So I'd imagine they're going to be working their way forward. So I think even if it is dry, we're going to have a bit of fun. So I'm against you, I'm afraid. I'd rather have a wet race, but I think either way, it's going to be an exciting one.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, before we get into the Formula 1 stuff, we do need to start with not FP3 at all, Formula 3 this morning. What was an absolutely horrific crash for Alex Peroni. Obviously, things are still very raw for everybody after last weekend's tragedy. But huge accident. If you didn't see it, I'm not going to show a video on here. I'm not going to show pictures either. But he hit the sausage curb on the runoff at Parabolica. His car launched over it, flipped in midair. The car landed upside down on the tyre barrier. Thank Christ for the halo, or thank the FIA for the halo. Halo is probably more important on that one. And then eventually came to rest the right way up, but in the catch fencing, or well through the catch fencing in the end. Horrible accident. He was taken to the medical centre. And according to the team, I will quote them here, says, looks like he's okay, but will go to hospital for more tests. There was TV footage of him getting in the medical car. So he was, in air quotes, okay, but he was properly shooken from that one. Or shaken from that one. Shaken from that one. Understandably, I think everyone can say. Just such a relief to see him get out of that one. Marshals all absolutely fine as well. The second angle that was shown, the marshals were also very... I hate using the term lucky, but I hope you all know what I mean by that. They were very lucky that they weren't injured in that one. The curb has been removed because, number one, it has to on safety grounds. They've seen that incident, they've got to act. Number two, because there wasn't really any sausage curb left after that incident, so it wasn't there. And they've been a lot of talk about where the sausage curbs need to go. But first and foremost, Dan, the absolute most important thing is that Peroni and everybody involved at that corner is as okay as can be expected.
Yeah, which I think, especially on first viewing of the incident, it didn't really appear that way. That very easily could have been career-ending. It reminded me very much of Dario Franchitti, the one that finished his career off in Indy. I don't know what IndyCar race it was, but it was IndyCar. And like you say, very raw from last weekend. I think we're all a little bit on edge after last weekend. I know Giovinazzi's incident, even that got me at the end of the Belgian Grand Prix. So something like this so soon after was not what we needed. But like you say, big impact. And for all of them to, I mean, Peroni himself just getting out the car, I think all of us were quite shocked. And I understand why the sausage curb was there, in the sense that they want to stop people going completely offline. But I think we've said many times, sausage curbs seem to cause more issues than what they stop. So glad they've got rid of it. I think it was Austria maybe last year where we were talking about sausage curbs. Maybe even this year, it seems to always be cropping up, the sausage curbs, for the wrong reason. So I really question them going forward. Although I suppose for corners like turn one, they work quite well, but through Parabolico, where drivers are pretty much flat out, it's a little bit daft, in my opinion.
Yes, especially when you consider the FIA and the stewards have already said they're going to be drawing a very hard line on track limits this weekend. If you, in fact, I'll tell you what they're doing for track limits at Parabolica. If they leave the track, all four wheels on the other side of the white line, the lap they're on, that time will be deleted, and their following lap, just like the F1 game, will be invalidated because of the advantage they get from running wide. So the rules are there. They're in place. They should be there every season. Obviously, the obvious solution is to stick grass or gravel there, but they're not going to do that. I can't imagine that's going to return. But as long as they police that properly, you don't need a sausage curb there. But this isn't the first one with sausage curb. I think maybe it might be an idea, because obviously we've got half an hour to qualifying, to perhaps get together maybe next week or at some point down and discuss safety and things like that, like sausage curbs, rather than in the stream. But I think maybe, especially with the return of ground effects in 2021 for F1, perhaps it's time to reevaluate whether sausage curbs are the way forward, because with ground effects, these cars, if they do go airborne, they go airborne. They do take off quite incredibly. But yeah, most important thing, he's absolutely fine. Again, before we get into the qualifying build-up, I do just want to read you this one, because I know that a lot of you will want to know. There has been, as I said at the start, a concerning update on Juan Manuel Correa. The family released a statement which said the following: as time has progressed, new complications have surfaced as a consequence of the massive impact he suffered Saturday in Belgium. On his arrival to London, obviously been transferred to London, Juan Manuel was diagnosed with acute respiratory distress syndrome. This is an injury considered common in high-impact accidents such as this one. Unfortunately, this injury resulted in Juan Manuel falling into acute respiratory failure. Juan Manuel is currently in an intensive care unit that specialises in respiratory issues. At this point of time, he is in an induced state of unconsciousness, so an induced coma, and under ECMO support. Juan Manuel is in a critical but stable condition. The family went on to say, we are confident that our son will surprise us like he always does with his tremendous fighting will and strength, and will recover completely. I think, Dan, we echo that sentiment from his family and wish him absolutely all the best, but a little bit of concern there for Correa. So hopefully we'll have some news soon, but difficult times for everybody, Dan. I don't want to get back into it, but I'm sure you'll want to send your best wishes as well to Correa.
No, yeah, exactly. I think everyone, even watching, knows that the accident itself was awful. So of course we're sending our best wishes. But I will say he's in the best place, which I think is nice. And they're going to give him the best care. So fingers crossed for you, buddy.
Absolutely. We'll move on. Like I said, I don't want to get too much into that one again. The FP3 result from this morning, Sebastian Vettel managed to top the session. The other Ferrari doing it today, 120.291. Verstappen out of nowhere, 0.032 seconds off him. Bottas and Leclerc, exact same time, just over a tenth off Ricciardo. What the hell? Up in fifth place, nearly 0.3 off. I had forgotten written that. Hamilton 6th, Hulkenberg 7th, Albon in 8th, Giovinazzi 9th, and Kvyat in 10th. Carlos Sainz 11th, Sergio Perez 12th, 13th for Gasly, and 14th for Norris. But the reason I've gone through them that quickly is because I want to say this. Less than a second between the top 14. Yes, bloody please, can we have that this afternoon? We don't see that very often in F1. Obviously, people will be cranking up engines and all sorts this afternoon, and others may not because of penalties, which we'll talk about in a moment. Kimi Räikkönen 15th, Magnussen 16th, Roman Grosjean down in 17th, Lance Stroll 18th, Russell 19th, and Kubica 20th. I suppose straight into the question then, Dan. Are we looking at Ferrari for pole today? Is that looking the most likely outcome, or is it just a hell of a lot closer than we were all expecting and it could go either way?
I'd love to say it's going to be a really mixed up grid, and I think it will further down the order, but I think this is Ferrari's to lose today. Although, really interesting, in quotation marks, statistic from Andreas Seidel yesterday saying that the slipstream round here this weekend is so strong, it can make up to 3 or 4 tenths of a second. So, Mercedes, if they can get that right, if they maybe sacrifice Bottas's lap or Hamilton's, which I think is a little bit unlikely, maybe they could get in the mix. But yeah, Ferrari's to lose, I think, today.
It's all going to come down to that slipstream, isn't it? We saw in F3, they
Yeah.
had to red flag the session in F3 yesterday because it was just 20 cars all driving slowly, and the FIA effectively preempted an incident and threw the red flag. That's crazy. I don't expect we'll see that in Formula 1. I'd like to think these drivers are experienced enough not to cause problems like that, but it's a crazy thought that we could see, particularly in FP1. I'll say 18 cars. I don't think a tow is going to help the Williams boys too much. But I think 18 cars all jostling for a tow because it could be worth, according to Sky at least, up to half a second a lap.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen drivers falling over each other in Hungary. We saw it last time in Belgium. So it very well could happen again today. And I think no one's going to be want to be at the front of that train, even the Ferrari boys that have the best straight line speed.
I'd be surprised as well. I think you kind of touched on it there. I don't see Mercedes giving Bottas a tow. I think Hamilton will get the tow. I mean, I know Bottas has still got an outside shot at the title, but it's unlikely that he's going to do it. It looks like it's Hamilton's all the way. So they're surely going to give him the tow. And then you'd expect... What did Ferrari do? I think Sky were talking on Friday that it was Leclerc's turn, but Vettel is ahead of him in the championship. He is, on paper at least, the number one driver there. And although neither are going to win the title, he's their best shot at doing so. So does Vettel get the tow? That's the one I'm really intrigued by, is Ferrari.
Well, yeah, and that was the big talking point from last year, wasn't it? Because Raikkonen got the tow, but it was Vettel who was leading. So, like you just mentioned it there, neither of them are really in the title fight, or at least something major has to go wrong for the Mercedes boys and Verstappen. So, you kind of think if it's Leclerc's turn, fair enough. But then part of me also thinks, well, if that was the big talking point from last year, surely Ferrari don't want to make the same mistake twice. So I think that's going to be a really interesting one. Whether they do a Leclerc the first run, say gets the tow, and then the final run let Vettel do it. Maybe they'll do it that way. I'm not sure, but it's going to be a game of politics today in Formula One, which I don't mind whatsoever.
Yeah, definitely. I think they'll give Leclerc the tow. Somebody's saying in chat, Andra says Alpha gives tow to both Ferraris. Tinfoil hats on already. We've been going 13 minutes and we've already got the tinfoil hats out. Don't trust Vettel to win. Better tow for Leclerc. Yes, I think, hope Leclerc on pole and win. He deserves it, says Alex Plays. I think it's going to be very interesting to watch what Ferrari decide to do with this one. Leclerc was pretty strong. It was the strongest of the two in Belgium, quite comfortably in the end. He's been very strong this weekend, apart from this morning when Vettel pipped him. So maybe Ferrari do need to just give Leclerc the tow and just say to Seb, sorry, mate, it's his turn, tough. Because then he's not going to win the championship, is he, Vettel? Unless something phenomenal happens between now and the end of the season. So they don't need to worry about that. For them, surely the most important thing is to lock out that front row.
Yeah, I'd imagine so. I think the only thing is they don't want to make Vettel a number two driver, which I'm not saying they are doing, but of course there were lots of talk after Spa about making him a number two driver. And I think, especially in the short term, if Vettel, say, does leave next year, they're going to find it really difficult to find a team leader, because I don't think Leclerc, who'll be in his third season, is ready to be a team leader just yet. So I think they need to keep Vettel on their good sides a little bit at the moment. So maybe that will come into play. But yeah, if it's Leclerc's turn, I feel that's the way they should go, to be honest with you, even just not looking at the championship standings.
What happened in Belgium? Was it who got the tow there, if anybody? I can't remember.
I think they didn't do it because of all the kerfuffle. I think Leclerc just went for a lap by himself. He didn't group up with the rest of them. I think that's what's happened, if off the top of my mind. But someone in the chat will tell me I'm completely wrong.
The chat corrects us, never. 3 people that won't be on pole today, guaranteed. Max Verstappen, Pierre Gasly, and Lando Norris. They're not going to be on pole. They've got multiple. I can't be bothered to work out the numbers. Multiple penalties for several components. They are going to be starting from down the back. Of course, the order in which they start will be decided by how they finish in qualifying. So you would, at a guess, and I am guessing, you'd say probably Verstappen 18, Norris 19, Gasly 20th, maybe something like that. But then that's all depends on what happens in qualifying, because if we get a car out of position, they might change everything there. And that, I love this penalty system. I really do, Dan. It's my favourite thing about Formula One. I was playing the, totally off topic, well, not really, but I was playing the F1 game the other week, and I went and changed all my components. I had a bad qualifying, and it was like 72 place grid penalty, and I'd lost like 1 place. And I was like, this is bizarre. This is really weird. So we're going to get a Verstappen coming back through the field. That's a good thing, Dan. I mean, it's bad for Verstappen fans that he starts out of position, but as a neutral, it is awesome that we're going to get to see a quick car out of position making his way back through the field, even though this circuit on paper isn't going to suit Red Bull. But I say that, he was quick this morning, less than half a tenth off the fastest time. So maybe there is some pace in that car that they've been keeping quiet. Maybe.
Yeah, and Albon got to P5 last time out in Spa. So that wasn't a circuit that should particularly suit the Red Bull. So maybe he can really, I was going to say a bit of a podium push, but I think that's maybe a little bit too extreme. But I'm really interested to see what they do today and see if they can get Verstappen through to Q3 and give Albon a tow late on. So that'll be interesting to see. But we saw last time out in Spa, they didn't do that with Albon. So probably, I imagine Red Bull will get through to Q2, do a lap, and then just save the engine.
Yeah, Mashiro M just asked in chat, do you think they will run Max on Q3 to help Albon? I'm going to say no, because I don't think they ran Albon in Q3 in Belgium to help Verstappen, and I can't see that they'd do it the other way around if they weren't going to do the same for Max.
Yeah, exactly.
It'd be the sensible thing to do if it's worth that half a second. But of course, there's no reason why Albon can't find himself tucked up behind a Mercedes and getting a nice tow, or a Ferrari. So they could probably utilise it that way. But it's all going to be about the tow today. That's all you're going to hear us talk about until 3 o'clock. Is the tow, and probably me stubbing my toe multiple times. A bit of silly season, Dan. Do you reckon it wouldn't be a stream without a bit of silly season, would it? So
no, definitely not.
You'll love this one. Nico Hülkenberg. He's in no rush at all to make a decision on his future. Talks are ongoing, but nothing is concrete. He said, quote, will still be a while. Now, Haas is mooted as the most likely destination. There were rumours that Alpha were a possibility, but Karun Chandok said on Sky yesterday that I think it was Giovinazzi's dad told him on a hot lap that Giovinazzi had signed for next year. Nothing official. That is still technically speculation and rumour and whatnot. But it looks like Gio is staying, which I think kind of makes sense if they're looking to get Schumacher in that car, but we'll see. So Haas looks like the most likely destination. Williams probably going to go with Latifi. I don't think Hülkenberg would fancy going back to Williams, if I'm being totally honest. Which means, Dan, Rogro is probably going to find himself out of a seat. Are you surprised or just gutted? He's crying. Look what I've done now.
Yeah. He's on borrowed time anyway, I think. I think quite a few people felt that at the end of last season. He was very lucky. I mean, he was lucky to keep his seat after 2012. He missed Monza in 2012 because of a race ban. So how he's made it to 2019, I still don't really know, to be honest with you. But he's driving okay at the moment. Drove really well last time. This is Grosjean. Really good race in Spa last time. So I have this gut feeling. Yes, I think Hulk will take the seat, and I think Grosjean sadly will be out. But I feel they're sort of doing a little bit what Red Bull did when they dropped Kvyat. They're waiting for Grosjean to make a mistake, which, let's be honest, it's only going to be a matter of time until he makes a mistake. And then I think they'll announce Hulkenberg. For Nico, I'm a little bit sad for him. I think Renault have let go a good driver there. But to be honest with you, if anyone's going to replace Grosjean, I'm happy it's a driver like Hulkenberg rather than a paid driver or someone that I'm not a fan of, to be honest with you. So that's a bit harsh. But yeah, Hulkenberg deserves to be in Formula One. I think Grosjean's probably had his time now.
I'm going to throw a curveball. You've just said that because I didn't even think about this until you just said about him making a mistake and then waiting. If he makes another big mistake, say he hits Magnussen again and takes his teammate out, do you think Haas might consider dropping him, getting Hülkenberg in early? Because the driver that's going to replace Hülkenberg isn't in a race seat at the moment and could quite easily hop into that Renault immediately, like Sainz did a few years ago, of course, after leaving Toro Rosso. So could, and this is a lot of ifs and buts in this, but could, if Grosjean makes another big mistake, Hulkenberg find himself in that car before the end of the year and Ocon in a Renault?
You know what? I hadn't considered that. Now
Sorry,
I'm
mate.
even more worried. Now I'm even more upset. Yeah, it's a possibility. I've been banging the drum that I don't think Grosjean's year has been as bad as everyone's saying, but I think you're right. If there is a big mistake, they're not really, unless there's a crazy result, and I don't see that happening, they're not really going to go that much further up the constructors' table. Grosjean sits in 17th, I think, in the championship, comfortably off his teammate who's in 16th, which even that's quite shocking to think they're down that far. So, yeah, I could see a switch happening. I could. The only thing is that Grosjean seemed quite chipper yesterday in his interviews when asked about where he's going to be next year. So whether he's got something sorted somewhere, I don't know. But even if Hulk does get a seat, I can't see anywhere else Grosjean would go. So I imagine it'd be a Formula E or something like that for him, to be honest.
He said Formula E was Plan C for him. So I'm intrigued what Plan B is. That's got me. What's Plan B? Because Plan A would be, you'd assume, would be Formula One, unless Plan A is staying with Haas and Plan B is Williams. Plan Z for most people at the moment, the state they're in.
Yeah, we've touched on this a few times this year. Would you rather go to Williams or a competitive Formula E seat? I mean, Formula One seat is brilliant, but I would imagine Plan B is still in Formula One. But I can only think of Williams, maybe Alpha if they were that desperate. But as you've just said, with Gio, I think he's going to stay. So, you've got me thinking now. I'm not really too sure.
Yeah. I mean, on this channel, I'll have to say that I'd rather go to Williams than a competitive Formula E seat. When the other one kicks off again later this year, I'd probably give a different answer. The only thing I would say is if Haas decide to release Grosjean, they've then got to pay off his contract, haven't they? So I can't see that. It's just a thought. I doubt it. But if you just look very quickly on Haas, a lot of talk. Somebody I've forgotten. I meant to screenshot this and put it in here so that I could give you a shout out. So apologies. You'll know who you are. Somebody in the comments to the preview on Thursday said something along the lines of, you've got Hulkenberg saying he'd have no problems with Magnussen as a teammate. You've got Magnussen saying he's got no problems with Hulkenberg as a teammate. And you've got Haas saying they've got no problems with them two as teammates. It's only really looking like it's going one way. If all three are sort of singing from that same hymn sheet and trying to make out that there's no issue with this partnership, then it looks as though the Hulkenberg thing is on the brink, I would say, even though it's a while off yet. Might not hear anything to the end of the year. I don't know. Maybe Haas might give Grosjean that respect, given that he did come to them when they were a start-up and stood by them through their difficult times, and they did stand by him last season, didn't they, through his tricky times. So maybe they'll give him that, but we'll see. We'll move on from Grosjean because I don't want Dan to cry because, you know.
Thanks, man.
I've already talked about track limits. We've talked about penalties. We've talked about the Hulk. We've obviously done the F3 curves. We'll try and talk about that in a later stream at some point as well. The Nameless says, Sean, how's your F1 bingo game going? Oh, don't get me started. If the FIA announce a revamp to Fridays anytime soon, sort of before the end of the season, I've got a bingo, because I don't care what Stuart, aka Chamber, says. I don't care what Hazel says. I don't give a damn what Jonty says. He's in chat, so I'm going to start. Gasly lost his seat. I am having that ruddy square, and that is that. So there we go. That's all I'm going to say on bingo. But let's do some predictions. In chat, we've got about 7 minutes till qualifying. We'll head over to the watch on screen shortly. What are your predictions for pole? No. The stipulation, John T, in your bingo thing was that he loses his seat or a driver loses their seat. So stop it, Sean. Stop it. This is why poor Stuart has got to edit 2 hours and 40 minutes of audio, part of it drunk. So, yes, alcohol doesn't mix on YouTube. But surname in the chat, let me know who's going to take pole position today. Who are you going for, Dan?
I will go with Vettel.
Interesting. I need to stick by my predictions from Thursday, really. I said Leclerc for pole and that he'd take the win as well. So that's going to be interesting. Are we Are we going to get as mixed up a grid as practice seems to be teasing us with, or have we just had the typical Mercedes haven't quite let it sort of opened her up yet? We've not quite had Mercedes opening it up yet. Ferrari opening it up yet. Red Bull, we don't know what they're going to do. A second between 1st and 14th does not seem right to me at all.
Yeah, I don't think it'll be that close, sadly. Sorry, everyone. But I think we will have a bit of a mixed up grid. I mean, a couple of times this year, we've almost seen 2-2-2-2-2 all the way down the field. I think we'll see cars that maybe should have gone out in Q1, maybe scrape into Q3. I think the slipstream's going to be that powerful today. And looking at where Ricciardo finished in final practice, I know it's only practice and it's not very representative. I think there's a chance we could see a real surprise result further up, a little bit like we saw in Canada earlier on in the year. So I think anyone's potentially, except the Williams boys, could make it through to Q3 today. So I think that's going to be a real fun one.
Ooh. Oh, Dan, you got me excited for quali now.
Sorry.
It'll be boring. You watch, it'll be boring now. Let's read some of these out then. George FBR says Vettel, Leclerc, Bottas, so he's backing you there, as is Caleb Jackson 2000, says Vettel for pole. Kimmy says Patrick. Casper says Kubica. I love your positivity. Andras has gone with Vettel. Let's scroll a bit further down. Liam Ward, I think that's Liam, so I think you need to be a moderator, mate, so I will do that. I nearly hid you from the channel. You're a moderator now. Kubica ahead of Russell, says Matty. That's a good question, actually. Do you think Kubica can out-qualify him? Russell's been pretty impressive this year up against his teammate.
Yeah, I think if it's going to happen at any race, this seems to be the one Kubica's most comfortable with. Obviously, lots of long straights. And also in practice 1 and 2, he was ahead of Russell. So I think if it's going to happen at any race, this is probably his best shot.
Also, actually, tell you what, it could be interesting then to keep an eye on what Williams do with the tow. Because obviously, whichever one gets towed is going to, in theory, should out-qualify the other. So, yes, I know it's not a big thing with Williams, but it'd be interesting to see what they do down there. But they won't show us on TV, so we won't know until tomorrow. Vettel, Leclerc, Albon says Max Claydon. No football this weekend, mate, because it's the international break. Yawn. I predict the Mercedes splits the Ferraris again, says Ash Cash 147. Jamie says Leclerc. Tom's gone with Vettel. Tian's gone with Gasly. Again, I love your positivity. Ryan's gone with Leclerc. Alex has gone with Vettel. John T says I'm fishing. Shut up. XBomb24 says Vettel. Verstappen says Cliff. He wouldn't get to start on pole, but he could set the fastest time, of course, because he's going to be starting for the back of the grid, so I'll be surprised. Bottas, that's the first Bottas I've seen, actually, from Mac393. Couple more. The usual Maldonado in there from Alex Shaw. Leclerc says Lassie, and let's have a look. Vettel, Hamilton, Bottas, Grosjean, there you go, Lucas Faber, and Alex Albon says X-Crafty K. That'd be a story, wouldn't it, if he could take pole position? Might just... Honda are definite, and I would say this as well, Red Bull with the Honda power unit are better this year than they were last year with that Renault one in terms of power, so I'm pretty confident that they'll be closer than they were a year ago. I'm going to say it. Red Bull fans will hate me at the end of this session when they're 6 seconds off. But they're definitely better off than they were. Are you been surprised by Honda this year, Dan? I have, but I was expecting them to do well anyway, but I'm surprised by how well they've done.
Yeah, I've been massively impressed. I was definitely one of those characters saying they were going to have a bit of a dodgy year or a year to forget, but reliability, incredible so far this year. I didn't expect that, but also just their straight line speed and overall pace has been just as good as Renault, if not better, which I did not expect. So big steps for Honda, big steps for Red Bull. I think all parties, it's been a brilliant move.
Right then. It is time. F1 are doing their amazing intro. It's time for my cheesy one. Let's go to the Watchalong. The seamless live stream continues to impress. The intro's not working. Should I just stop the stream? Should we just stop the stream and start again? Because this is not working at all. The sound is working, but the image is not. I'm off back to bed. This is not going well. live timing is provided, as always, by the awesome folks over at Planet F1. I will sort that out, how it's laid out at the moment, because that's obviously wrong. It updates from a couple of minutes into the session. People are telling me to restart the stream. Leave me alone. Yes, so live time from Planet F1. I'm actually talking to, as I said last week, Cool Timings about a possible qualifying version of their awesome race graphic and their visuals there. So hopefully we'll get that before the end of the season. But at the moment, we've got these from Planet F1. They do the job, and that's all that matters. So thank you to those. And of course, the usual disclaimer. There is no race footage, no on-track footage in this stream, because if I did, I would be hunted down by FOM, and God knows what they'd do to me. Copyright law is the short answer to that one. So, yeah, it is surprising how many people ask me that. I understand that qualifying watch-along perhaps is a term that confuses people. It's something footballers do a lot, football channels do a lot, Dan, is these watch-alongs. But it seems obvious in the title for me, but there you go. Maybe it confuses you as well, mate. Maybe you keep tuning in going, where's the race footage?
Yeah, I think you're a bit of a fraud, to be honest with you. Disgusting.
That's rude. That is so rude. I'm just playing around with these to make sure that they're in the right lineup, but this will change anyway. Because the way they're laid out, so I'll leave it for now. But yes, a couple of comments from you guys. Drink a Red Bull, it gives you wings and it helps the streams out, says Michael. I need that one. They would kill you if you for your copyright, says Jason Parker. They would hunt me down. They would not be impressed. I think hunting me down is a bit over the top. But yeah, they were pretty rough with me in pre-season testing, or at the start of pre-season testing. Anyway, when I was doing the watch-alongs there, they were pretty much tearing me to pieces with copyright strikes, which is always nice. Dan will know, and I'm sure if there are any other YouTubers in the chat, you'll know. It always makes you feel really good when you go to your Gmail inbox and it says copyright claim, and you sort of go, oh, fantastic. It's just what I needed today. Session is underway. No clock on screen at the moment, but I will put a timer up in a second when it actually finally catches up. Unless I'm on some sort of delay, which I could well be. I am on a delay. So that'll be why the time is not working. Oh my God, we are well into the session apparently. 16 minutes to 12. Apologies, I didn't realise my skybox was so far behind.
To be honest, I was thinking I'm usually one with the delay, and I'm ahead. I was thinking, no, now I've got the delay. Which, just a heads up, everyone. If I start banging on about something which is miles behind, apologies.
I just, I put all this effort into planning things and forgot that I paused my skybox briefly while I was doing something.
It's all right. Nothing's happened yet, I don't think.
Yeah, they're all going out. 15 and a half minutes coming up to on the clock. So, yes, I'm now ahead of Dan, so that will be confusing.
Not by much, don't worry. I think about 20 seconds. That's okay.
Are you on Now TV or on Sky
Now
Go?
TV. Yeah, oh no, not Sky Go. I'm not that rich, I'm afraid. Just Now TV.
I don't think I don't know what Now TV's delay is. I know the Sky Go delay was about a minute because I did the German Grand Prix watch along with Jonty last year, and he was like a minute behind, and he was like, "Mate, I'm helping you, but you totally ruined the race for me." I'm like, "Vettel's in the wall." He's like, "For God's sake."
Yeah, no, it's very bizarre because on my phone, if I watch Now TV, it is about a minute behind. If I put a Now TV stick in, it's about 20 seconds. So I just leave it up to it. I just let it do its thing, to be honest.
Easiest way, mate. Easiest way. Just leave it to it. I'm not in with all this technology stuff. We've got drivers coming around to start their laps now. Just waiting now for people to do laps. Just having a look at tows. I think the Toro Rosso boys, I think Gasly is going to get the tow from Fiat by the look of it. He is at the moment. I might be wrong. Just waiting to see. Although no tow at the moment. Although nobody's going for a tow now, are they? They're going to wait for the final runs, I would have thought. This will be about a banker.
Yeah, I'd imagine so.
Will you do the race watch on tomorrow, says Nicholas? Yes, they were supposed to be back last week, but I didn't go ahead with it for what I think is obvious and fair and correct reasons, or are. So they will be back tomorrow. They were scheduled to be back last week, but they're back tomorrow. They won't be at every single race, as was the case last year. There are a couple of races between now and the end of the year that I can't do, but that's for stuff that I'm not going to go into now. But yeah, for the same reasons as last year, there'll be a couple that I can't do, but there will be predominantly between now and the end of the season. They'll be back hopefully full-time next year once we've ironed out some of the issues we've had. And now I've got my hit together. So there you go. Liam says the slipstream down this back straight can be worth about 0.2 seconds according to the FOM world feed. I think Sky was saying up to half a second, but I suppose that's if you follow for the whole lap, because then you've got the start-finish straight, you've got the back straight, and I suppose the run through the Curva Grande. Maybe. Kvyat fastest, 1:21.281. 2 1,000ths behind him is Lance Stroll. Lando Norris goes up to third on a 21.3. Raikkonen fastest, 21.0. Just watching a replay of Gasly go wide out of the second chicane, kicking a bit of gravel. Some great shots actually this weekend of cars getting showered with gravel down there. Been good to watch.
Yeah, you don't usually hear that sentence, but no. You're right.
Buffing out a few chips when they get back to the garage, that's for sure. A few bits of purple. Apparently, I'm watching the live time. Magnussen on one. Kevin Magnussen, of course, who has the... I was getting some stuff ready for the Singapore Grand Prix. I know a little bit ahead of time. We're getting stuff ready yesterday. He's got the fastest lap for Singapore in the race. That was quite weird. I had to proofread that 16 times to believe it. But he does. Bless K-Mag. Gio is fastest. In Italy, of course, Leclerc slow. Saying that Seb is going very, very quick. So obviously complaining about a lack of a slipstream there. It's not working for Ferrari. So it is Leclerc by the look of it, Dan, that's going to get the toe, at least at this point.
Yeah, I think that's probably the right decision. If that's the order they've been doing all season long, that makes sense. Although I'm thinking about Q2, it's going to be interesting to see with tyre strategy what they're going to go with. If they have someone on the mediums, do they get a toe? Or I don't know. I'm not too sure. It's sorry, apologies, tyre talk, but is it 4, 3 and 2 this weekend?
C2, C3, C4, yeah. Sort of in the middle. Or exactly in the middle.
Yeah, so that's going to be an interesting one. I'm not really too sure, because obviously practice 1 was just completely out of the window. So I'm interested to see if anyone takes the gamble in Q2. I know it's a little bit of a way off, but it'll be interesting to see.
Well, it's closer than I thought it was because I was on a delay. So, what we got so far? We've got loads not setting times yet. Vettel, Leclerc there on laps. Ricciardo, Hülkenberg, Albon, Verstappen, Bottas and Hamilton. In fact, Verstappen, Bottas and Hamilton aren't out on track. I wonder if Red Bull will bother sending Max out.
They have to, don't they? Don't they have to do at least 1 lap to be classified or something? That's maybe my knowledge. That's not very good there, but...
If he sits it out, the FIA would be within the regulations to say, no, you can't take part in the race. But I think because he set a very good representative time in practice, he should be okay to start. I'd pause there because Leclerc went third, which... Well, originally went fastest. He's now been trumped. Second place, Daniel Ricciardo. Current fastest, Nico Hülkenberg. Very early days yet in qualifying, but a 1:20.1 from Hülkenberg is not a bad time at all. So it looks, Dan, as we saw in Belgium, as though that 1 lap pace in the Renault seems to be sorted. They just need to get on with their race pace.
Yeah, well, neither of them have penalties this weekend at the moment, do they?
No.
So that will help them out. And yeah, Belgium, they were a big surprise on their... I did not see that coming from Renault. I mean, we just mentioned Honda a minute ago. Renault's pace in these kind of circuits have really surprised me this year. So they could be a real surprise today.
Quite sure. Yeah, we'll keep an eye on them. See what's happening. You see they're updating on the Planet F1 timings. Renault's 1 and 2. It looks like, just watching the Mercedes now, it looks like Bottas is going to be giving Hamilton the toe. I would assume that will continue through the whole session. Jonty says the fastest lap in FP3 was a 1:20.294. It was indeed. So he's a 10th quicker than the fastest time in FP3. So maybe this is going to be closer than we thought. I don't think we're going to see a Renault on pole. I'd be very surprised, but yeah. Also, well pointed out, actually, Ferrari on the mediums. Leclerc mediums and Vettel mediums. So that explains why they're not fastest at the moment.
I'm surprised at Racing Point at the moment. Obviously, my timing's a little bit delayed, but I thought they would be right up there. But in the moment, they seem to be on the bubble.
Yeah. I've just been told in chat by Alex to pay attention. Not easy when you got about 6 screens to keep an eye on, mate. But I'm trying my best. I don't tend to pay too much attention to tyres till the second session when it kind of has an impact on the race. But I'll try my best to keep on top of it. But even with that taken into account, Albon only went third on the softs. So Renault clearly have got some pace. Could they threaten Red Bull in quali? That would be a surprise, wouldn't it?
Yeah, that'd be a big surprise. Well, we already know Verstappen's starting in the back, so we don't know where he's going to qualify. But I think Albon as well, this is his first real quali. Because obviously last time he only got to Q2 and started from the back. So I think even just Albon himself, that's going to be a bit of pressure on him this weekend because as we've seen in the first half of the year, Gasly really struggled. Okay, he got to Q3, but when he got to Q3, it was still P8s, P9s. So a lot of focus on him today.
So Hamilton got the toe and doesn't go quicker, but he did go very wide out the final corner. So I wonder if that time's going to get deleted. I saw a kick of cement dust, which will have been where that sausage curb was. But Ferrari on the mediums also throws something into the race as well, because I think that means now, yesterday, as Leclerc goes fastest on the medium tyres, because they were fresh mediums they've put on, I think that means they've got at least one extra set of soft tyres, possibly two, because they ran the mediums in FP1. Just watching a replay of Hamilton now go very wide. No, he didn't go all 4 wheels over, so that's fine. But yeah, I think they used the mediums in FP1 as well. So I think they might have a couple of sets of soft spare. So they've got a couple more than Mercedes, which could be intriguing for the race tomorrow. I'm getting a bit ahead of myself now, but yeah.
Tinfoil hat time.
But Hulkenberg's still second, even after the Mercedes runs.
Yeah, I mean, I was just a little bit behind them. Bottas is purple in the middle sector. Obviously, Mercedes are going to be a bit better through there than Ferrari, but that seemed to be where Hamilton lost a bit of time.
Yeah, it's surprising. And you'll see when your stream catches up, mate, you'll see that even with the toe, Hamilton's still well off his teammate, over a tenth. So, well off. A tenth of a second, well off his teammate. Oh, F1's a weird world.
Yeah, I know what you mean. You'd expect him to be in front, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
By a couple of attempts. So, yeah, unlike Hamilton as well. But Bottas this year has surprised me. They've been pretty close of the two Mercedes boys. So, I know someone put as their prediction Bottas pole.
Yeah.
Maybe not too far away from a crazy shout.
Just TV picking up Gerhard Berger there. Legend. Jean Alesi there this weekend. Pirelli going to be running the 2021 tyres. The big ones, the new rims and everything after the qualifying sessions. So keep an eye on social media for that one. I wouldn't have thought Sky will cover it live. They don't tend to. But keep an eye on Pirelli on social media for that. So we're going to get a look at the... what's the word I'm looking for?
I'm not sure.
Not the actual ones.
Prototype.
That's the one. I was going to say draft.
They are.
The draft ones. What do we got? Ferrari on quite long runs, actually, on the sixth lap now on these medium tyres. So I think they're just out there pumping the laps in. Bearing in mind, we didn't have much significant running yesterday, and they were 10 minutes short this morning because the session was a little bit, or the pit lane opening was a bit delayed. So they might be using this as a bit of a practice session, maybe. Because there are a number of drivers staying out on the softs as well, just doing loads of laps. So I don't know.
Yeah. The only thing is they're going to have to... Yeah, I mean, they're going to have to come in if they want to get fresh tyres on for a final run, because I don't know how much the track evolves in Monza and what the weather's like and the tarmacs. Trying to sound technical there. But it's only a second Magnussen's got behind Leclerc. For me, it is at the moment. So anyone's still in danger, I would say.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't be... Just looking at the times now, I wouldn't feel safe if I was... We've got a red flag. I think Dan rapidly learning in this qualifying watch song why people don't like joining me for the race watch song, because I've ruined it for everybody. But yeah, we have a red flag for some reason. We did have a yellow. It's now gone red. It might be gravel. Oh, we've got a stopped racing point, and it is Sergio Perez. So he's out of the session because he was already 17th anyway. Sergio Perez has pulled over at the side of the road or the track.
Well, that's his perfect record gone. See, Stroll always does well in Monza.
Nothing to do with the fact that he's tampered with Perez's car. That's what it is. I will get my thing in Monza, right? So we have a red flag. That's something that seems to be happening a lot Just watching on board. Looks like a mechanical issue. Can't see the steering wheel very well. Sun's on it. Oh, it sounds a bit rough. Another Mercedes power unit issue, potentially?
Yeah, and there's not long left of the session, although do they stop the clock?
They do stop the clock, yeah.
Yeah.
They do.
That's my problem. But even then, it's only 4 minutes, so they're going to have to get out pretty quick.
This could be very interesting. This is going to be a chaotic finish. Shouldn't take long. Shouldn't take long to clear Perez's car. He did leave it there in the skate road, but I do like this. They red flag qualifying when they have car stops on the side of the track, even if they are easy to clear, because obviously if you've got yellow flags down there, it affects people's laps, doesn't it? And it's just better to stop it and go again. So 4 minutes 34 on the clock, which I'll pop back on screen shortly. But yes, red flag is out at the moment. Take some of your comments in chat in a second. I'm just going to get the clock ready for when we go again. There we go. It's 4 minutes 34. How much time left? I've just answered. I'm reading your question. I've just answered it. I'll say it again. 4 minutes 34 left. That's my fault. Sorry about that one. Merc engine failure, says Lowlands Pete. We'll wait and see. Another Merc bites the dust. Is Verstappen saving his engine? Is it Aria? I mean, if he goes out, he's not going to floor it, is he?
No, I think he just did a lap then. Obviously, mine's delayed, so I just saw them wheeling him back in. But he seems to be circulating, so I think he was trying to do a lap.
Yeah.
So I imagine they'll just make him do one right at the end here.
Session is about to get going again any second, actually. So that's good news. A very quick delay, as I was saying. Just waiting now for everything to go green. It did say within the next minute, so I'm staring at the clock. Can you tell that I'm trying to do two things at once here and make sure that I get the timings right on this one? Williams getting some tyres on there. I think that's George Russell. It is indeed. 18th and 19th for them at the moment. Q-Bits are just behind, or second point 1.1 off. Yeah, Q-Bits are well off, actually. I wonder if he got caught up. He's not 1.1 seconds slower than Russell.
No, maybe Russell got the toe.
Maybe, yeah.
This time as well. That might come into play here.
It's a good point, Dan. Very good point.
Well, occasionally I'll come out with a good point.
Currently in danger as the session does get underway again, we have got Grosjean, Perez, Russell, Kubica and Verstappen. Perez obviously already out. Verstappen doesn't need to qualify because he will be starting right at the back anyway, or somewhere down there. But as you were saying, Dan, 1 second between first and 15th. Only 1.1 between Perez in 17th and Leclerc fastest. Fascinatingly, Russell, in air quotes, only 1.6 seconds off the fastest Ferrari time. Of course, that was on the medium tyres. So that car, and it was on a long run, 6 laps. It would have been full of fuel as well. So that's probably not representative for Williams, but it's nice to see them within a couple of seconds for once.
Well, and also I'm just looking at it now. If they give Russell the toe, he might be able to sneak in front of Perez. I mean, 0.5 is quite a gap, but I mean, it's not impossible. But then, do they really? I don't know what the order they've done it in so far this year, and I don't know who got the toe first time round. But that might be something they play with in this final lap.
I said in my debrief after Belgium, we never see anything of Williams, do we? I know nothing's really happening with him. We never see it in the race. You never really see anything qualifying. So I always have to rely on their post-race press releases so I know how their race went, because you never see it. And that's all the cars coming out in tandem there, desperate for a tow. That was quite brilliant to watch. And everyone tucking in behind. I'm looking forward to Q3. Can you remember a few races ago when Mercedes went out, did practice starts at the end of the pit lane so they could get the tow from, I think it was Ferrari. We might see some games like that again today.
I think we're going to see plenty of that today.
This is going to be a frantic 2 minutes and 45 seconds. I'm going to have a drink because this is I think it's going to go mental as they're all on their outer laps. So who said that? Block Flight said top 7 are safe, question mark. Probably. Yeah, Kimi's 0.3 further back in 8th. But it just depends on what toe they get. If anyone manages to get a double toe, track evolution, maybe. We've had a lot of rain this weekend. Going to rain again tomorrow morning for the F3 and F2 apparently, which could make things very interesting.
What is quite interesting? Oh, sorry, I don't know to talk
you're right.
over there, but they've all gone out in twos except Williams. They've completely split their cars up and where they are in the field.
They have, haven't they? Yeah. It looks like Magnussen's getting a tow from Grosjean by the look of it. I would have... actually, do you know what? Actually, Haas are in a really awkward position here.
Aren't they always?
Well, yeah. Grosjean's 16th, Magnussen 15th. So as it stands, Grosjean's out, Magnussen on the bubble. I was just going to say, surely Magnussen needs to give Grosjean the tow so he can get out of Q1, but potentially Grosjean could get out of Q1 and knock Magnussen out. So Haas really need to, for me, just need to let their drivers get on. They'd have been better putting Magnussen behind, I don't know, Gasly, for example, and Grosjean behind Sainz. I know easier said than done, but putting their drivers together might cause them a headache.
Yeah, they need to hope, well, Grosjean needs to hope he can get a tow from one of the Alphas in front. I think it's an Alpha in front of him.
Verstappen is going to set a lap time. Comes through the first sector. He's very slow. It's not a fast lap time. I think he's gone out to do sector times on team radio. No power. No power for Verstappen. This is a new power unit as well. If he pulls over, that could be a red flag, and that might be session over for everybody. Surely he just has to cruise it round. But they've just put the new power unit in. That's why he started from the back.
That is very bizarre.
Wait and see. He's not pulling over. No yellow flag, so he'll keep going. Race control. Lap time deleted for Alex Albon for track limits at turn 11. So that means that his following one was deleted as well, or was invalidated. We're going to get some lap times now, so I'm going to take a deep breath. Because this is about to go a bit mental, I feel. Kimi Räikkönen first across the line, can do another lap if he fancies it. He does not improve, stays in 8th place. Giovinazzi over the line, he doesn't improve. Grosjean goes 12th now. Magnussen up to 8th, so that didn't hamper Haas too much. Gasly goes 8th. Kubica over the line, improves 1.4 seconds off. Russell within a second of Leclerc's fastest time. He's still 18th though. Norris up to 11th. I have no idea who's where. Stroll did a purple first sector. What the hell? Lance Stroll over the line only goes 12th though in the end. I have no idea what happened there. Grosjean has somehow started the final laps in 16th, and despite jumping up to 11th at one point, finds himself 16th. Only Rogro could do that. Dear. So I think that is the end of that one. That all went a bit mad at the end. Stroll did do a purple first sector, and that got me a little bit excited there. But out of the session, Romain Grosjean, Sergio Perez, George Russell, Robert Kubica, and Max Verstappen, who didn't set a time, but absolutely incredibly, 0.6 of a second separate the top 16, and Grosjean was just over half a tenth off Kvyat in 15th.
This is a good one.
This is a very good one.
This is crazy.
And that doesn't, of course, Perez didn't run again, but he was only 1.1 off. Russell was, in the end, 1.6 off Leclerc's time. I know that was on the mediums, but even if you take into account Hülkenberg, only a couple of hundredths further back, he's still within 1.7 seconds of the second fastest time of the day so far. That's huge positive for Williams.
Yeah, and this is supposed to be a track which is supposed to be one of their worst of the season.
How did Stroll set a fastest first sector? I saw that and was like, oh my God. Stroll through to Q2 as well for the third time this season now, that'll be. He got through last time, obviously because of the red flag with Giovinazzi. He got through in another race. I can't remember which one. I can't remember.
Hungary, because possibly. Ricciardo and Perez tripped over each other.
Yes, it could have been. And he's got through again, so good on Lance Stroll. But fastest was Charles Leclerc from Nico Hülkenberg, just a couple of hundredths further back. And then it's Valtteri Bottas and Lewis Hamilton. Daniel Ricciardo and Sebastian Vettel only 6th, but it should again be pointed out that his fastest time was on the mediums, I think. Alex Albon in 7th place, Sainz in 8th, Gasly 9th, Magnussen 10th, Kimi Räikkönen 11th, Lance Stroll 12th, 13th for Lando Norris, 14th for Giovinazzi, 15th for Daniel Kvyat. And then out of Q1, Romain Grosjean 16th, Sergio Perez, who pulled over with a mechanical issue, 17th, 18th for George Russell, 19th for Kubica, and 20th for Max Verstappen. He didn't set a time because he seemed to have a loss of power, but he will be starting last anyway. Just on board with Verstappen now on the world feed. See what the engine sounds like. Think. Yeah, just dropped loses all power through the Curva Grande. Grinds to a halt. Again, I don't want to say it sounds like a power unit problem because, again, that Honda at low speed sounds dreadful. So it could be, I don't know. Could be worries. But he's out. He would have been last or down the back anyway, so I don't think he's going to miss out too much, and he should get away there with the FIA because he had a mechanical problem, so he should be okay. But yes, Hülkenberg second is probably the story from that one, I would say, outside of the mechanical problems. Anybody standing out there for you, Dan, that I've missed?
Not too much. I think just like we just mentioned, just the gap between first and 16th, that is so crazy. We've not seen, I mean, Grosjean 6,000ths away from getting through. We knew it'd be close. I don't think any of us expected it to be quite that close.
It's I'm good. I'm a bit disappointed. I'm not saying it because you're here. I'm disappointed for Grosjean because I was hoping he would have a good weekend this weekend. He's one of those that could do with it, and his chances of a seat next year are slim at the moment. Although, bless him, he's quite confident he'll keep his Haas seat. Which, do you know what, actually, totally, I'm going to wander off on one now. I do wonder what drivers get told by their teams, you know. For everybody to going, it looks like it's going to be Hülkenberg. Everybody that's in the know, you know, the sources and that are all saying Hülkenberg will be there. But Grosjean's confident he'll keep his seat.
He's just a happy chap.
He don't listen to anybody else.
No. Yeah, I kind of agree with you. And I mean, what happened with Pierre Gasly over the summer? I mean, you're right. Just the mindset these drivers what they must be told, and what the teams tell the media is a whole different ball game. So, yeah, he needs a strong weekend, and I think Spa, Grosjean this is now, was running in P6 for a good chunk of that race. But as soon as that car gets in any kind of dirty air, following another car, it's pretty much game over. So, I think for him and for Magnussen as well, he needs to try and really push for Q3 tomorrow, or else I think it's going to be a little bit like Spa, where they just end up going backwards.
Andy says, are some teams running different setups because of the possibility of rain tomorrow? We don't see that very often now in Formula 1. We used to get that quite a lot. Oh, here goes Grandad. We used to get that quite a lot when I were growing up watching F1. You'd often get drivers making decisions on setups and whatnot, but we don't see that as often now. We don't seem to, so I don't think so. Because looking at the skinny wings on all these cars, they're definitely not set up for the wets. I don't know. I honestly don't know. I'd be surprised because of how close the field is. We've not got anybody apart from the Williams is really that far off. And even like with Russell, even he's not that far off the pace. So I'd be surprised. But, you know, back in day, used to have like a Michael Schumacher at Monaco in 97 changing cars about 40 minutes before the warm-up because he wanted a wet setup. That doesn't happen anymore because of cost cutting and things. Sad times. It's not sad times at all. It's probably good times. I think we are about ready to go for Q2. In fact, I think we are green. Indeed, we are. So we'll get the timer up. And Q2 is ready to go. So we'll see. Usually get a couple of minutes now where it's a little bit quiet, and then everyone does pull out the garage now. I've said that one. We shall see. Here goes Grandad, says Flying Tiger. Also, there is only a little rain expected, so why throw your queue for what is essentially going to be a quite dry race? That's a good point by Freeze014. I think the rain is expected to hit in the race, but it's not going to be anything. We're not like we saw in Germany. Although Dan would quite like that. He'd quite like to see a bit of chaos again.
Yeah, that'd be, especially with now Grosjean being out in Q1. That's probably ideal.
I bet Red Bull wouldn't mind it either, with Verstappen down there in what's going to end up being plumb last now. Apex Twin, I'll answer it. What are your thoughts on Alonso's comments about coming back? It felt like he was having a laugh, but it wouldn't surprise me to see him partnering Kimi at Alpha. I did a video on this not so long ago, and I had a moan on Twitter yesterday. I have no issue with Fernando Alonso. He's a fantastic personality, and he's an incredible racing driver, but we've got to let it go. We've got to let it go and move on.
No.
It would be amazing to see what he could do in a Mercedes again up against Hamilton, reignite that battle from 2007. What could he do in a Ferrari now? Could he take the fight to Verstappen in a Red Bull? What could he do in a car like an Alpha? It would be great to see that sort of thing, but I don't think he's coming back. I think he's teasing everybody. Just the way Fernando does, really. I don't know. It's quite, like I said, because he's such a good driver, Dan, he's got such a personality, I understand why people would like to see him back, but I'm one of these that once the driver's decided they're done, that's it, let's move on.
Yeah, and also, I don't know about you, but I really struggle to find a team that would want to have him. The kind of wages he would want to be on, and the game of politics he's played in Formula One over the years. He's not made many friends, so, okay, yeah, it'd be great to see him in a Ferrari, but apart from that, I really struggle to see a team that would want to have him.
Yeah, I think that's a fair point. People talk about going back to Ferrari. I don't see that. I think the bridges have been burnt with Red Bull before they've even been working together because of the comments in the media. I don't think Mercedes would want an inflammatory driver lineup, so I just don't see. And I don't see him going to an Alpha because he wants to be fighting at the front. I did find his comments, though, as Crofty brilliantly pointed out in commentary, his comments about how boring and predictable F1 was, which is why effectively he was happy to be racing in WEC, did make me laugh, given how dominant Toyota are in the World Endurance Championship and how obvious it was they were going to win the title. But whatever. Slagging the sport off, and people are like, why is he not coming back? He doesn't want to be in F1. Let's move on from Alonso. Take my own advice. We've got cars on track, finally. Kvyat looks like he's going for a lap, which he is indeed. Fastest lap at the moment is a 6 minute 41.225 by Magnussen, apparently, according to the graphics. It's a quick one. And Kvyat didn't set a time in the first sector. All the graphics are playing up. Magnussen has gone purple in the first sector, though. What can Lance Stroll do? Can he surprise me again with another... No, he can't. Oh, come on, Lance. Where's your purple sectors? Oh, shocking. Absolutely shocking. Of course Magnussen's setting purple sectors because he's the first one to set a time. Come on, Sean.
I'm surprised Stroll got through, actually, because obviously he didn't have Perez as a tow. So that was just on pure pace. Because I was going to say, he might be at a disadvantage this session, but he wouldn't have had it in the first session either. So that was actually a genuinely good lap from Stroll, which I don't say very often.
Well said, Dan. Well said,
thanks,
fanboy. That's me, isn't it? Stroll fanboy. Going to get some drivers across the line. No, Magnussen isn't first. Why are the times like that? So Kvyat goes fastest, 21.0. That's then trumped by Magnussen by 0.4. 20.6. Lance Stroll over the line. 20.9. Not awful. Ricciardo currently purple in the first. Hamilton purple in the middle sector. Bottas on a good lap as well. What's he going to do? We've got yellow flags out there. But over the line goes Bottas. Goes fastest, half a second quicker than Magnussen. Here we go. They're cranking it up now. What are the yellow flags for? Now it's green. Hamilton goes fastest, 19.7. And that's pretty much matched by Vettel into second on a 19.7. Over the line goes Sainz on a 20.5. Leclerc goes fastest on a 19.5. Ricciardo a 19.8. Hey up. Hülkenberg a 20.4. Renault, that pace is real from Renault. Ooh. Hopefully the timings are going to update soon from Planet F1. I'm sure they will. There's nothing on the website at the moment, so they will do when that updates. But yeah. I'm going to watch a couple of replays. Kimi off track at the... Is that the Lesmos, I think? That's why we had the yellow flag, Kimi off track. But yeah, Daniel Ricciardo up into fourth place, less than 0.3 off the fastest time. So
I just need a minute to process that.
Yeah.
That is unbelievable. I mean, in Azerbaijan, that's a track with long straights. They were nowhere. They were out in Q1, both of them, I think. So where this pace has come from Renault, I do not know. This is insane.
I don't know. I'm a little bit baffled by it. As you clearly are, Dan.
It's really got me. It really has. I mean, 0.3 off Leclerc, that is madness considering the kind of advantage we were expecting Ferrari to have, and in front of Bottas as well. Oh, I'm really happy for him. I mean, obviously, it's not Q3 yet. I need to calm myself down a little bit. Don't want to get too carried away, but that's brilliant.
Norris goes 12th, despite getting a pretty good tow from the Ferrari on the back straight there. Live timing isn't updating for anybody that's asked. I've not seen it in chat, so apologies for that one. It's not actually updated on their website either, so until that updates, there's not a lot I can do. So you're going to have to put up with us rambling rubbish. At least it's not the race. Oh, God, knock on wood, I've got to watch on tomorrow. That's a nightmare when it goes down for the race. Quali we can get away with, but I'll keep an eye on it. Hopefully it'll update shortly. And they're usually pretty swift, actually, Planet F1 at sorting their problems out, so I'm sure they will. Lance Stroll, currently P10. He couldn't, could he? Gasly to do a time, Raikkonen still to set a time. He couldn't, could he?
Oh, don't tease us like that. No.
No, he couldn't because Kvyat's just gone 10th. Sorry about that, jinxing it. But yeah, Leclerc currently fastest on a 19.5. Hamilton just 10th and a half behind. Vettel just a few hundredths further back in third. Ricciardo, like I say, within 0.3 of the fastest time and getting on for a couple of tenths quicker than Bottas as well. So Ricciardo looking good. Actually, he qualified well in Canada, didn't he? So maybe it just suits them.
Yeah, which I find so strange to say after the last 3 or 4 years. And then last time out, they were right up there as well before their penalties. So crazy.
Very weird. Albon 6th. Hulkenberg 7th. Sainz in 8th. A second covers the top 9. So Magnussen in 9th. Kvyat in 10th. Stroll only a couple of tenths off a top Q3 appearance in 11th. Norris in 12th. 13th for Gio. Gasly 14th. Raikkonen no time because he went off track. So we'll see if we get this live timing working. Again, apologies that it's not. There's not a lot I can do. I keep apologising, but it's literally nothing I can do about it until they've sorted whatever issues they've got out. So you'll have to make do with us talking rubbish and trying to run you through the times. Everyone in the pits at the moment, coming up to the 6-minute mark. Daniel Kvyat, I say everyone in the pits, he's out there coming into the pits. Team radio from Danny Kvyat. Says he wants some tow. I think they're going to need it. Only 2 tenths up the road from Stroll. Where's Ricciardo going to end up then, chat? What do we reckon? Could he be the surprise of the session? Do you think he can break into that top 6? Maybe even pit Bottas? Maybe he is at the moment. Obviously a long way to go yet, but what do you reckon, Dan? Could he just him and Albon battling for 6th place?
Well, it'll be, sorry to say this, it'll be 5th, won't it? Because Verstappen's not there. So it'll be even higher. So I think, yeah, definitely top 6. He's even in front of Bottas. Maybe I'm getting a bit carried away there, but Bottas isn't going to have the tow. If they give Ricciardo a tow, maybe I'll push for a 4th. Bit extreme, but he seems to have the pace. So, yeah, I'm going to go P4.
Ooh, Dan. Brave.
Yeah, a bit spicy, but...
I'll go 5th. I'll not be quite as excited. I'll somewhere in the middle, where it should be really. De Ferris Wheel says, listening in while sitting in the grandstands at Turn 1. F1 Word trackside commentary, brilliant. Thank you very much for tuning in. Hope you're having an awesome weekend. Monza is a circuit I've always wanted to go to. I might try and get in, maybe obviously not next year, maybe the following year. Hope you're having an awesome weekend. I know when I'm at Silverstone, I flipping love it, so I'm sure you are as well. You went to Silverstone this year, didn't you, Dan?
Yeah, I did.
Great weekend, isn't it?
Well, sort of, but, when you, in the flesh, watch your man crash with his teammate on lap 1 and go out of the race, it's not ideal. But yeah, the atmosphere is awesome. Love it.
That's what happens when you pick Grosjean as a favourite driver. It's kind of an inevitability.
That is very true, though I was there at Spa in 2015, so it's not always bad.
What I'll do is if the live timing doesn't sort itself out, I'll put the result up from Q2 when F1 publish it over on Twitter. for now until the live timing's sorted. So at least there's something there rather than just those awesome shapes and whatnot. So hopefully they'll sort it. Like I said, they're usually quite quick. It tends to be Q2 when we have technical issues. I might drop him a message later and yeah. Dan, I saw Verstappen get smashed up, so I know your pain, says Liam Ward. Yeah. Can't watch the Grand Prix this weekend because I'm on holiday in Bali, so thanks for the stream. No worries at all, Jack. Thank you for tuning in. Hulk on pole just to see a beat bull in fetal position, says Jan. That'd be a story, wouldn't it? And a recap of the positions is what Marina would like, so absolutely can, as we come up just past the 3.5 minute mark now, so drivers waiting to go out again. Leclerc fastest on a 19.5 from Hamilton and Vettel, who are about a 10.5 off. Daniel Ricciardo within 3/10 of the fastest time in 4th. Bottas in 5th place for Mercedes, obviously. Alex Albon in 6th, only half a second off pole. I say only, but it isn't a track that Red Bull are expected to do well at. Hulkenberg 7th within a second, so that's 2 Renaults inside the top 7. It shouldn't be surprising to see Hulkenberg 7th because that's kind of his position. Sainz in 8th, Magnussen 9th. And Kvyat in 10th. Lance Stroll is 11th, Norris 12th, Gio 13th, Gasly 14th and Raikkonen 15th. Yet to set a time, he had an off. Gasly needs to find quite a bit of time. He's 2.1 seconds off the fastest. That's not the one we need to look at. But he is, what is that, 9/10, nearly a second off his teammate in P10. So he needs a good clean lap. Giovinazzi, half a second off. Going to be tough for him to get through. We'll see. They might get a tow again. Norris, he's 3/10 off. Stroll only a couple of tenths off. So there's a fair sized gap between 10th and 11th, and the rest as they all come out again simultaneously in the pit lane. I'm loving that. It's brilliant. Trying to get a tow. But that 2/10 Dan could be made up with a decent, again, tow.
Yeah, exactly. And it'll be interesting to see if Norris and Gasly go out. Obviously, they're starting at the back, but if they try and help out their teammates, that could really elevate Kvyat and Sainz into a safe position.
I just wonder if Stroll can... No, the problem for Force India... Force India, oh my God.
Oh, come on. It's half a season now.
It's unacceptable, isn't it, to be making that mistake. Racing Point only have one car because obviously Perez retired, so... How's he going to get a tow? The Force India maybe needs to find himself behind a Sauber. Maybe then, or perhaps one of the Minardis. We'll see. But yeah, look, we've got scrapping. We've got drivers fighting for position. I think that was Gasly trying to let one of the Ferraris go. The Ferraris weren't overly keen. They are going to pass him now. But Gasly letting the Ferraris by. No, Vettel doesn't want to let him go. Or doesn't want to go through. And they have let him through eventually. Gasly has. He's realised. That is... PA Gasly here, Dan, in a very, very good position behind 2 Ferraris, the fastest in a straight line in theory.
Yeah, the only thing with Gasly is he's miles away from Kvyat. Kvyat's in front of the Renaults and that queue trying to get back. Gasly's trying to find a space for Kvyat. So, the politics. Love this.
Albon is leading the field. He's got Magnussen behind him. Albon doesn't have a tow. Magnussen does have a tow. Kvyat quite a way back on K-Mag, to be fair, but he's got a Renault right behind him. I need to start loading up the app actually for these things and having the tracker open so I can actually see who's behind whom. But this is gonna get interesting. So we've got 30 seconds to go, less than now. I'm gonna do what I did last time and have a drink. Lovely water. Oh dear. And then we're gonna get ready and see what could be quite chaotic here. Out of those in danger. Who's getting through, Dan, do you reckon? Do you think we might see... Norris has got to, surely, if Sainz gets through. The pace is obviously there, but they're getting penalties. Or he is.
Yeah, that's... I think out's going to be the 2 Alphas, Gasly, Magnussen, and Norris. I think Stroll will get through.
The FIA steward super quickly says it's pretty important info that everyone should know. The safety car minimum speed will be used as a guide for if they are driving too slow after the F3 shenanigans yesterday. So thank you for that, mate. I appreciate that. So just bear that in mind. They are policing it this afternoon. But here comes Albon on his way to Parabolica, not the Parabolica, Parabolica. Just inside the track limits, but he's not. It's not a great lap from Albon. Watch him go fastest. Over the line, does not improve. Stays 6th. Magnussen over the line, stays 9th. Gasly goes through as well. It was Kvyat, actually, getting a tow from the Ferraris, not Gasly. He stays 14th. Raikkonen goes 8th. Stroll goes 8th. Oh, go on, Lancey boy. Sainz over the line in 7th. Stroll drops to 9th. The Ferrari's pit. No great surprise there. What can Kvyat do? We've got yellow flags. That's cleared quite quickly. Kvyat only 12th. Giovinazzi goes 11th. I'm just waiting for confirmation before I get too excited. Hamilton goes fastest on a 19.4. But ladies and gentlemen, Lance Stroll, P9.
He's done it. Crazy.
Is that his first? No, it can't be his first Q3 appearance because he did it a couple of years ago in Monza, didn't he? In the wet, or last year in Monza.
And last year.
Yeah.
He's done it every year in Monza. He's too good. He's too powerful.
Oh, so there you go, Lancey boy, P9, but out Giovinazzi by 0.02 of a second. Oh,
Crazy.
But that could be quite tasty. That could be quite good for him on the fresher tyres tomorrow. I guess the free choice. So that might help him there.
Yeah, if you want to start anywhere. I mean, the last couple of years as well, those guys that have started 7th, 8th, and 9th have struggled compared to the guys in 11th and 12th because of the tyre choice. So that could be a good one for Gio.
Magnussen P12, outqualified Roman Grosjean. So from Roman Grosjean, Roman Grosjean. So obviously from a personal perspective, that's a good thing for him. But he'll be disappointed with P12, given that this is when Haas should be stronger. It's the races where they struggle. Kvyat 13th, Norris 14th. He's taking penalties. Gasly 15th. He's taking penalties as well. So that's not where they start. But really, the story from that session, I don't think any great surprises in that dropout. Maybe Norris, but again, he's taking penalties. Is Lance Stroll up into 9th place, and Ricciardo stayed 4th. So, yeah, exciting stuff. I'm going to see if the times are published from F1, and I'll put it on screen because I know the timing isn't working at the moment from Planet F1, so apologies for that once again. There's not much, or there's literally nothing I can do about that apart from keep refreshing it. So I'll keep an eye. Hopefully they'll get it back. If not, we'll muddle our way through it together. And I think actually now I say that, the website has updated. So in a second, we may well see. There we go. Look at that. They were listening, Dan. The swines.
Well done.
So there you go. They are the times. I was going to say I was going to put the official timings up, which I'll do at the end anyway for the full session result. But Hamilton fastest 19.4. Just watching Kimi here and Gasly. I assume that's the outlap. Ooh, Gasly put a bit of a squeeze on Raikkonen on the run to Parabolica there. It was a bit cheeky. I'll let you wait. I'll wait till you see the replay for that one, Dan, and then you can let me know what you think while I run through the order because that was a bit naughty.
No, it's just happened there. To be fair, that was a little naughty, especially because Gasly wasn't planning on going through particularly anyway. Seems a little bit nasty.
Yeah. Hamilton fastest 19.4. They keep showing replays, and they did do the toe with Sainz. That's why Norris didn't get through. Sainz was following down the straight for the toe, and then Norris dives out of the way at the last second before the first corner and lets him go. So there we go. Well played by McLaren. 19.4 for Hamilton. Fastest. I think that's the first time they've topped a session this weekend. Charles Leclerc, 9/100ths further back. Sebastian Vettel 3rd. Ricciardo in 4th. Bottas only 5th. Interestingly enough, so keep an eye on that. Ricciardo could be a big shock here. Albon is. I'm going to knock on wood because Annette will kill me. If anything happens to Danny Rick now and he doesn't finish a high up. Bottas 5th, Albon 6th, Carlos Sainz in 7th, Hülkenberg in 8th, half a second off his teammates' time. Lance Stroll in 9th place, only a second off the fastest time. Kimi Raikkonen in 10th. And just to confirm once again, Giovinazzi, Magnussen, Kvyat, Norris and Gasly join Grosjean, Perez, Russell, Kubica and Max Verstappen on the sidelines. Don't forget though, we've got penalties for Verstappen, Gasly and for Norris at the moment. It could change. It could change, of course, between now and tomorrow. I'll send this across and get the timer ready for Q3. This is where it gets exciting now down at the front. We've been watching the midfield. Final predictions in the chat then. One surname. Who's going to take pole position? I'm going to stick with Leclerc. What about you, Dan? Are you sticking by your guns?
I'd be a little bit silly too, but I'm gonna still say Vettel. That's probably wrong.
I like that. I'm going to be silly too. He probably won't, and I'll be wrong. But I'll stick with my prediction anyway. I love it, Dan. You've got to do. You've got to stand by that conviction. What are people saying in the chat? What's Jonty said? That's the first time Renault have reached Q3 with both cars at the Italian Grand Prix since 2011. Stat attack.
Oh.
Good stuff, Jonty. He's our stat man today. I'm just going to call you Ted. You are Ted. You're in charge of the pit lane, mate. I was going to see what people are saying. Stroll on pole, says Dapper Dog. Sam R's gone for Leclerc. Miss Crit goes Hamilton. Patrick Paddy goes Hamilton. Luke's gone with Albon. Somebody nice said Stroll. Jonty's gone with Stroll. Julian says Leclerc. Game player Hamilton. Khan says Leclerc. Stroll for pole. A lot of people saying Stroll for pole because it sounds cool for starters. Leclerc, Hamilton for pole. So if start of this stream, not many were saying Hamilton. All of a sudden, they've turned everything up. Liam's gone Sebastian Vettel. Sakin says Kimi. Yep, I can read that for a second then. It quite clearly says Kimi, Kimi. Come on, Sean. Scott Young says Leclerc. Alex Shaw says Butler, of course. Bloody Devon Butler. Oh, can't stand him. Ricardo. A couple saying Danny Rick. Could you imagine the scenes? I can guarantee you now you will hear Annette screaming with joy from all the way down under if Danny Rick ends up on pole.
I don't think anyone would be angry, even the Tifosi. I think they'd still be pretty happy if Ricardo got on pole.
Tyres for tomorrow's race. I think the top 10 are all on softs, but that's the information there. But correct me if I'm wrong. Were Ferrari on the mediums at any point? They were in Q1.
Yeah, I don't think they were in Q2. I think you're right.
The information I've got here is that they were all on the softs when they got through the top 10. So just watching chat, because some chat are so eagle-eyed. They'll call me out if I'm wrong on this one, but I think everyone starts on these softs.
I suppose they had to. It was that close, wasn't it?
Yeah, you can't risk it, can you? You just don't know what's going to happen with... definitely Leclerc, says Jonathan Jojo. So it looks like everybody, I think it was the softs. People are saying softs in chat, so just to confirm that one, we are underway for Q3. We have got this little thing at the start of Q3 that's quite awkward, where they tend to just sit and wait for a bit, which is frustrating. But I think we've got a three-way... I'm not going to rule out Valtteri Bottas despite the gap. I think we have got a four-way fight for pole, but I do wonder, new power units in the back of those Ferraris, the brand new spec as well. We haven't seen that party mode yet, have we? So they could suddenly turn that up and go a second clear of everybody. I don't think they will, but you never know.
It's possible. Well, what is strange as well is I'm pretty sure, again, chat, correct me if I'm wrong, when you said it, Sean, I've got up the live track map. That was good thinking, that was.
Good call.
But that was very good call from you. But I'm pretty sure it's Hulkenberg who's got the toe in Q1 and in Q2. So I wonder if they'll swap that around, because Ricciardo's looking quick without it.
Hulkenberg's getting the toe.
I'm pretty sure Hulkenberg's been the one that's been behind when they've got round the final corner. I'll keep an eye in their first run here, but I'm pretty sure it's been Hulkenberg getting the toe.
He's quite a way off his teammate then, considering he's getting the toe.
Yeah, that's the only thing I'm questioning myself about. Yeah. That's quite a gap, but I'm pretty sure it might have just been their first runs that he was behind. But even then, even if he's not, their pace is looking good. So I think they'll be happy with even 6th and 7th. If they can get that today, big smiles at Renault.
So Mercedes going out first, followed very, very quickly by Ferrari. This is going to get interesting now. There'll be a bit of jostling on the first runs, but I think the second runs is where it's all going to kick off. Mercedes are pulling over at the end of the pit lane to do practice starts, and I think Ferrari... No, people are. They're pulling over to do practice starts. Mercedes pulling that game again. I think a McLaren has. We've got Kimi Raikkonen essentially attached to the rear wing of Charles Leclerc. It is all starting already. They are the two Renaults. I can't see from that helicopter shot. I think, Ricciardo's in front of Hulkenberg. You might be right, Dan. But the games have started. Here we go. It's going to be bloody chaos.
I'm just sat here grinning, to be honest with you.
Oh, Leclerc really slow. Kimi Räikkönen, oh my God, he's really slow as well. I can't believe it. Must have some kind of mechanical issue. Leclerc's dropped right to the... He isn't. He's trying to drop to the back. This is mad.
And Albon's at the back this time, so he's done the switcheroo from last time.
Yeah, Albon right at the back, but Leclerc is practically stopping to let people through and they're not wanting to go. And Sebastian Vettel conveniently locking up on pit exit to go straight across the first chicane. This is brilliant.
It's like race conditions. You wouldn't think this is quali. I'm just going through the first sector now on my screen. They're all over the place.
Devon Meadows in chat says, show the stream, guys, what the F. It's called copyright law. Until I've got 1.5 billion, I can't really buy the rights to F1, unfortunately, and they take the channel down in seconds, so I'm not going to risk it for anything. It's just not worth it. Not worth the hassle. Just having the word live and F1 in your title can be enough sometimes when you take your stream down, so I wouldn't dare put any race footage out. And yeah. But we've got a lot of games going on there. So Vettel is first. Ricciardo's got the toe from Vettel. Hulkenberg's got the toe from Ricciardo. Who's behind Hulkenberg, though? Look at, I think it's Leclerc. He is indeed. Then you got Raikkonen. Oh, this is mad. Vettel will not be happy.
Sainz has got between the two Mercedes as well, which is quite interesting.
Yes. Well, I tell you what as well, Vettel last year was kind of, I guess, screwed by the toe, and it looks like he has been again. Ferrari are going to have to get smart if they want to stop Mercedes getting the toe. They want to make sure they're behind someone. At the moment, Vettel is purple in the first. Obviously, Leclerc 10th slower, but was purple in the first by 3 tenths. This is...
No Stroll as well. He's not out there at the moment.
He'll be saving his tyres, won't he?
Yeah, good point.
Because he'll use an extra set to get through.
Good point.
We'll see. Deep breath. I think it's the next runs that are going to be even more critical for the toe. So Vettel's going to go across the line. It is a 1:19.457 for him. Ricciardo, a 1:19.8. Hulkenberg, a 1:20 flat. We've got a yellow flag. Charles Leclerc goes a 19.3. Hamilton a 19.3 as well. Oh, that's Raikkonen in the wall. That'll be a red flag. That is a red flag. Stop that one. Kimi Räikkönen in the wall at Parabolica. I think we're okay. He is okay. It's a hefty shunt, but he's gone in backwards by the look of it.
Ooh, it's just popped up on my screen now. He had an incident like that earlier on in the weekend, didn't he?
Yeah. That's
Although
concerning
a bit more
for
wetter
Kimi.
Conditions.
We do have the red flag at the moment. 6 minutes 35. He's gone in backwards. So wait and see what's happened here. What that has done is we are going to get a very crazy end to this session as well. Martin Brundle said in commentary there that is almost certainly a gearbox replace. That looks like a hefty whack down.
Yeah, that whole back of that car is pretty much gone. That's a nasty one.
Let's see what happens. We're going to get the replay now. So he's coming down to Parabolica, obviously, because that's where he's had the incident. Into the corner. Oh, quite similar to what he did on Friday. Yeah, he's lost the back end and gone backwards into the wall. He's turned the car in. Back end's gone, no thanks, mate. And that was that. What's Vettel doing here? Replay. Does he keep it? Oh, I think he's all 4 wheels over Vettel. That time will not count. It will be deleted. That looked like all 4 wheels to me. Red flag. Did Bottas get his lap in? He should have done. Because the line's quite high up, isn't it? Or quite soon in Monza.
Yeah, on my live timing from F1 at the moment, he hasn't. So for me, he's sat P7.
Official timing doesn't... official timing says he didn't get his lap in. So Bottas' lap does not count. Kimi obviously doesn't. Stroll didn't go out, and Albon's lap won't count either. So Bottas now all the pressure on his final run. At the moment, Hamilton splitting the Ferraris and only 400ths off pole. This is close. Vettel a 10.5 off. I think that time's going to get deleted. I'll keep an eye out. He might get away with it. It's fine margins, isn't it, F1? Because the rule is if all four wheels are over that white line. So if any part of that tyre is in contact with the white line, it doesn't matter how small, it's okay. It's really, very fine lines. Literally.
I didn't manage to catch the replay of Seb, to be fair, but yeah, I mean, we've seen them do it with laps that are just warm-up laps, so if he is over, they'll get rid of it. But Ricciardo, P4, just saying, someone said that.
Oh, that is a mess. You'll see it in a minute, Dan. That is a hell of a mess. That's, I think Johnson just said in chat, 100% a gearbox, but that is going to be a gearbox change. Chassis? I wouldn't want to say, but if it does require any kind of change, like a chassis change, then he will. Around goes Kimi. But yeah, if it does require a chassis change, that's a pit lane start guaranteed.
Yeah, I'm just seeing it now. That's a hefty whack.
Quite a lot of damage there to that car. On board from Hamilton showed the spin quite clearly what happened there. He would have been past that before the yellow flags came out, so his time will stand. There'll be no problems there for him. But I'll run through the times. They are on screen, but I'll do it anyway because now we've got to fill a couple of minutes because the car's not even on the truck yet. But Leclerc is fastest on a 1:19.307. Hamilton second on a 1:19.346, just under a thousandth under, 4/100ths off the fastest time from Leclerc. Vettel a 10.5 off his teammate. Ricciardo still fourth and half a second off the fastest time. Bottas's time did count. It's just updated on the live timings. It did count, so he did get it in. So Bottas now moves into third on a 19.3. Vettel now down to fourth. Ricciardo half second off. Hülkenberg 7/10 off in sixth. Sainz 1.6 seconds off in seventh. And then it's Albon, Raikkonen and Stroll yet to complete a time. And of course, Kimi will not be setting a time. So he will be at the end of today, he will be 10th. But for the race tomorrow, he will not be 10th. That will be... that'll be a new gearbox. Maybe a new chassis. I don't know. I'm not an expert on that kind of thing, so no way I'm going to call that one. But there could be. They might then choose to change the power unit. So he could be starting in Hungary tomorrow. But we'll see. It's going to be a long way back wherever it is, poor Kimi. Second crash of the weekend as well.
Yeah, a track he's usually pretty good at. So something's not right with him, bless him.
Bless him. A lot of blessings today. Oh, bless him.
Surprised at Hülkenberg still, though, with the toe again behind. That's a couple of tenths as well. It just doesn't quite seem to have the same pace as Danny Rick here at the moment.
No. Yokoyama just asking where Max is. They've just arrived. Thanks for tuning in. He's last. He is 20th. Had a mechanical issue in FP1, in Q1, whilst he was going for a lap, so ended up coming back to the pits, and that was the end of it for him. But he would have been starting from down the back anyway, because, penalties and whatnot, new power units ready for Singapore, which is what's going to concern them. I've not actually just double check, see if while we've got this stop, whether Red Bull have tweeted anything. So I wouldn't have thought so, because I'd have thought chat would have given me a shout. If there's anything on Max. Last tweet from them on Verstappen was Max failed to set a time in Q1. However, the Dutchman was already set to start at the rear for tomorrow's Italian Grand Prix. So no news. So yeah, Bottas, they're just confirming on Sky there, he did get his lap in. I think the session's about to restart very, very soon. So I'll keep an eye out. Oh, Dan, this is going to be a crazy final 6 minutes because they're not going to get 2 runs in, are they?
No, definitely not. So we'll probably have a bit of a lull, I'm guessing, for a minute or two. And then, just straight into the final runs.
Just watching some more replays of Vettel. Was it all 4 wheels? Let's have a look. It's front tyre. Oh, no, it doesn't. It wanders off. Oh, the FIA have got a call to make there. I think he was just over. I think he was just over the white line there. But they're going to know better than us. It's close, isn't it? It's really close.
That is right on the edge. They're just going to hope he does a quicker lap this second time round. Oh, I think that's off.
Just a bit of sorting the barrier out there, but it should be okay. Liam says, yeah, Vettel over the white line there. I think he's over the line, says Flying Tiger, but it is the home race.
Good
Flying Tiger's been here way too long with his tinfoil hats. Let's see what the VAR says Friezo on 4. John T says all 4 wheels, however, it's a Ferrari at Monza. So are you and Flying Tiger together in the pub? Because something, yeah. Yeah. A lot of people say it's definitely over the line. I think the onboard was close. When you look at the offboard, the front wheel looks like it's staying on the line, and you're going, oh no, he's okay. But then it kind of just steps over a bit more, doesn't it? And that's when you go, oh. But be interested. I mean, if they delete it, they delete it. He's still only 4th with his current time. John T says, I wish we were with regards to the pub. We'll all have to get together at some point and record something in a pub, maybe end of season. Look at me making plans again on stream. Stop it, Sean.
Trying to find a central one's the difficulty.
Well, Jonty's pretty central, isn't he? But I don't really want to go to Brummyland. So. I'm dead. Session will restart at 16:07 local time. I am getting some abusive messages later.
That was a good one.
Anyway, I think 3 tyres are off at different points, e.g. the right rear is off but front right is on, then the right front is off when the right rear is on. I'm going to leave Eilish GT to sort that one out. That's too complicated for me. That's way too complicated for me, but I like your thinking. So session going to start very, very soon. I will stop the timer, may as well, and I'll go, because for some reason they don't always give you the time straight away, or let you know. Got 6:35 left on the clock. I'm just trying to work out. So what we've got for lap times, 1:19, so 1:20. So with assuming they were to do a 1:19.3 on an outlap and an in-lap, which they won't. No, they're not going to get 2 runs in, are they? Well, unless they do racing pit stops, maybe. But then you're fueling up for the first 2 runs. I'm with you. It's a risk, isn't it? And they're fueling the car up for 2 runs, so the car's heavier on the first run, so why bother?
Maybe for someone like Stroll, if they just want to get him out and just get that P9 and be happy with it, they might do it then. But I think even then will try and get something a little bit more and wait to the end.
It feels like the calm before the storm. Kimi allowing us to take a breath. That's why he did it. He thought, oh, Sean and Dan will need a break, so we'll... Mercedes are well ready to go. Are they going? The session is underway again. I'll start the timer at 6 minutes. But yeah, Ferrari... Mercedes playing that game. Should Ferrari have just tucked in behind them? Do you think?
Maybe, but Vettel's time as well. Is he 2/10 off? I haven't really got it up on my screen.
1.5 tenths off in the end. So
yeah, he didn't have the toe, did he? So no. I mean, we've been banging on about this all day, but this is now where it counts. Who gets the toe, or if they just abandon it like Ferrari did last lap.
We are underway. We have been nearly for a minute now, actually, and everyone's just waiting. I think this just confirms it will be 1 run. Captain Bumface. Why don't I read full names on YouTube? Says party mode time. Absolutely. This is going to be a very... Oh, it's going to be quite dramatic. We're building up, Dan, so it's probably going to be like really boring and nobody improves.
Probably. That's usually how it goes.
Jonty says, lads, Stratford. It's cool, historic, and I've got a mate who lives there and works in a pub. Where's Stratford? Is that in London?
I don't know. I should know. We're bad for not knowing that, I feel.
It's a tube stop. It's definitely a tube stop.
Yeah, Stratford End Sounds London. That seems to ring a bell in my head.
Just so I've got this lull, story time, why not? We were down in London with family for a few days, or nearly a week actually, just so I could have a break. Really good time. We went to see Only Fools and Horses, a musical. Bloody brilliant. Definitely recommend it if anyone wants to go see it. But the tube at kicking out time, wow. It's like you're sort of there on the tube and you're like, this tube can't get any more full. This is ridiculous. And then all of a sudden, you find somebody pressed up against your cheek and you're sort of like, I don't know you, but I feel like I'm having a more intimate relationship with you than I have with my partner. It was ridiculous how close it was, but yeah, how crammed in. Nothing compared to those videos that you see online about sort of trains in Japan and things, but bad enough. I think I'm married. There's a possibility I'm now married. Coming up to the 4-minute mark, as you can see on screen, all the drivers still in the pits. So yes, definitely go and see Only Fools and Horses, the musical, if you get the chance and you're in the UK. If you don't like Only Fools, then probably don't, because yeah. Anyway.
Didn't expect to talk about that today.
Did Vettel's time get deleted, says Jigstar. No, still on the official timing. Bottas's time did get added, but originally it wasn't counted, but it has now counted. Stratford upon Avon, people are saying.
Yes, that makes more... That sounds right.
Sounds like it's in the UK, so yes, absolutely. This is going to definitely be a one-shot deal, absolutely. We're coming up to 3 minutes already, so this is where it gets interesting though, Dan, because I just said, should Ferrari have pulled in behind Mercedes? This is all going to come down to how long's left on the clock, because Mercedes could sit there all day if they wanted, and Ferrari can't. They're going to want pole position on home soil, aren't they? So they don't want to be sat there behind and risking running out of time.
Yeah, and the question is, who goes first? Who's going to be at the front of the queue? Because no one wants to be there.
That's the thing, because Mercedes, if they go and sit at the end of the pit lane and Ferrari took in behind them, Mercedes control when their cars launch, so they can sit there and they can send them out, a little bit like Alonso in the pit lane back in 2007 in Hungary, send them out of the pit lane so they've got enough time to get round, but leave Ferrari in a position where they don't have enough time to get round.
Oh, this is going to be good, man. Too much tinfoil hats going on here at the moment, but I like it.
Flying Tiger says a staring contest. Adam Schneider says, what happens if Verstappen? Mechanical issues in FP1, in Q1, and he didn't get to complete a lap in the end, but he was going to start from pretty much the back anyway. Theme from Jaws, says Janus. That's how it feels. We're coming up to 2 minutes. Somebody's going to have to blink at some point, and it is Lewis Hamilton who will go for... Oh, no, he hasn't. Who's gone? Is that... Oh, here we go. One car comes out, everybody else follows. So Renault have missed out on that one. I think it's Ricciardo at the front of the queue. Mercedes are not playing the game, but they have got out behind other cars. So Hülkenberg, Stroll, Sainz, I think that is Bottas, then Vettel, Albon, I'm looking at a long shot here, Leclerc, Hamilton and Hülkenberg. Ricciardo, locked up on pit exit and has had to go straight on at the chicane, but it's okay because everybody else seems to have a mechanical issue and has stopped on track so that he has to rejoin in front. This is madness. It was Hülkenberg, sorry. This is ridiculous. It's like a safety car restart. The cars aren't going to get to the... Crofty's pointing out, and so is Martin Brundle, they're not going to get to the line. They're not going to get to the line. Ferrari have bolted because they've had to.
Stroll's going to get pole.
It's like a safety car restart. This is insane. 50 seconds to go. They're only just coming through the second chicane. What the hell?
I'm not going to lie. On the track map, on the app, it's just a whole bunch. You can't even work out a single one of them.
So Carlos Sainz has gone for it. He's ahead of Vettel. Then it's Leclerc. They're having to push now. They've got 35 seconds to get to the line. I don't think everyone's going to make it.
This is unbelievable.
This is going to be close. Charles Leclerc is racing Vettel down to the Parabolica. And they're having to. I think Ricciardo's got a problem here. He's not going to make it. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. What on earth? I think Carlos Sainz is going to be the only one to get a lap in. What on earth?
This is insane.
I'm just waiting to see. I think Carlos Sainz is the only one to cross the line. Leclerc possibly. He's going to have pole unless Sainz can stun us with this. That is absolutely ridiculous. Leclerc's still pushing, but I don't think he got across the line. Leclerc's on pole in Monza, unless Sainz delivers something to stun us all. What's he doing? 31.2. No, that's Stroll, Sean. Wake up. 27 flat, he's not, but he might upset a few here. So to confirm, we're just waiting now for Carlos Sainz.
Wow. Well, that was anticlimactic, to say the least.
I'm just waiting for Sainz. The day's been so weird, Dan. I would not be at all surprised. 26.7 in the middle. It's not bad. He's personal best and goes across the line. Stays 7th, but does improve his time. Well, not me.
Wow. Okay. So many questions. I mean, now becomes the real question of, do they keep Vettel's time? Because I think most people would agree went all 4 wheels over, and that'll be a big upset.
Vettel will drop to 10th. Oh, it did 2 sector times. Maybe not, but...
Albon P8, that's a surprise.
I mean, we're laughing, but I think out of amusement more than anything, that was absolutely farcical. I was just watching a replay now, so Hamilton realises, obviously, he's going to go for a move, and then... What on earth? And then he gets... Yeah, the Renault has to back off because of the Ferraris. Hamilton nearly goes in the back of him. Crofty was absolutely taking... I've written it down in big, with a big question mark. Could we see some penalties here yet, Dan? Because I know that there was a rule about the safety car time, but some people were really taking the mickey there. So to recap, Charles Leclerc is on pole. I'll go through the order in a moment. But Hülkenberg was first out of the pits. He then went straight on by accident at the first chicane to go around the bollards. But behind him, obviously to try and let some cars through, but behind him, everyone basically stopped in that first chicane so they didn't lose the position to him. And then that's basically all they did for the rest of the lap. They were jostling for position, driving really slowly, and it was quite clear, Dan, wasn't it? We called it. Quite clear by the second chicane that not everyone was going to get round unless they absolutely floored it, and they were still messing about on the run to Parabolica with about 10 seconds to go.
Yeah, we said at the beginning of even Q1, we were saying, they did it a little bit in Spa, and maybe we thought, okay, maybe 1 or 2 will do it, but not the whole field. That's insane.
I'm just going to put a tweet out. Because, I never do it live. Why not? And a facepalm emoji for good measure as well. I'm just waiting for the official results to come through, then I'll run through the order. But yeah, Leclerc gets pole. He'll be happy. But on the radio, I think he said it was ridiculous or messy or something.
We've only got 7 times. That might even be 6 if they get rid of Vettel's time as well.
I mean, it robbed us of a dramatic finish. Although I did hold breath, because I just had this horrible feeling that Carlos Sainz was going to go stick it on pole. Not a horrible feeling, like everything that's happened today. Oh my God, he's on pole. Important, last lap under investigation. Who's that for? FIA stewards, is that, or the whole thing is under investigation? I'm not surprised if everybody gets investigated. The only one I think maybe will come out of that okay is Sainz, but even he was involved at a point. But nobody improved their time because nobody got a lap in. So even if they do investigate that, what will happen is that it'll be maybe for blocking, 3-place grid drops all around, in which case everyone starts where they qualified anyway, because everyone will get one. So Kimi Räikkönen for pole, despite crashing.
This is so uncharted territory. I cannot believe what we have just witnessed. And I don't know. I know one of you in chat said you were there at the race. Is that a good thing? Being there in the race that it's a Ferrari pole? Or is that robbed of the show a little bit that we've just lost the epic scrap at the end?
Yeah, I can't remember who it was. Good point, Dan. Down at turn 1 at Monza. How was that for you? Are you miffed, or did you just, I'd imagine, sit there wetting yourself laughing at the whole thing? I will go through the order, don't worry, but I'm just going to wait until they put the graphic up. But having said that, the graphic might not come if it's all under investigation. So I'll do a quick run through now of your top 10 with all your times. So Charles Leclerc is on pole on a 1:19.307, 4 100ths clear of Lewis Hamilton, who is just 5 100ths clear of Valtteri Bottas in third. Sebastian Vettel a 10th.5 back, but as Dan rightly pointed out and has now got me very excited for the drama later on Twitter. He could yet lose that time because he was all 4 wheels over the line out of Parabolica, or it looked like he was. I'll play it the on the fence way. Daniel Ricciardo 5th. So did you say 5th, Dan? What did you
I said 4.
I said 5th. I got something right.
You said 5th.
Hulkenberg in 6th, 7/10 off. Carlos Sainz is 7th. Alex Albon didn't set any time. Lance Stroll didn't set any time, but he won't care. He's 9th. And Kimi Räikkönen crashed out to end up in 10th place. And then behind that, it's Giovinazzi, Magnussen, Kvyat, Norris, Gasly, Grosjean, Perez, Russell, Kubica and Verstappen. Verstappen, Norris and Gasly all taking penalties. I would expect Raikkonen to take a penalty. And there's a very, very strong possibility that we might see some more penalties yet. Yeah, interesting stuff. Halfway through, I thought they were not going to make it, says Monkey. I'm not reading all the numbers. Yeah, we said at the second chicane, didn't we, Dan, that was... I don't know what to say.
No, I mean, this one might be very good for Giovinazzi. We said, P11 might be quite good for him, but if half the grid gets penalties, where could he start?
I say it's farcical. I said it on Twitter, but it was hilarious.
I'm still shocked.
Yeah. Sort of torn on that one. It's sort of like, this is an absolute farce, but my God, that's funny.
Well, even if they did all make it to the line, I'd be shocked that it looked like a Grand Prix, like they were in the middle of a race.
Yeah.
And lost for words. I'm not going to lie. It's unbelievable.
I'm just going to retweet Out of Context F1. If you follow me on Twitter, do head over there and follow me now at F1 Word. I've retweeted a picture from Out of Context F1, which is just the entire field in a bunch at Curva Grande. That sums up qualifying very nicely. So yeah, just wait for the official timings to get released, and I'll pop them on screen for you. But yeah, I don't know if they will release it, but we'll go through the order in a minute. Does that change any of your thoughts for tomorrow's race, Dan? They're just showing a replay. I'll tell you what, we'll just do this quickly. So yeah, Hulkenberg across the chicane, watching the replay now. Everyone backs off. Carlos Sainz moves up into second, is the only way to put it. Then kind of, I think he realises, because he's alongside Hulkenberg, and then just floors it. I think Sainz realises at Curva Grande. No, he doesn't. He backs off again. He backs off. Vettel's leading. Then Sainz goes past Leclerc. And then it all bunches up again at the Parabolica. Oh, that was very weird. Very, very weird. But yeah, does that change anything for you tomorrow, Dan? I don't know who you predicted for your wins and whatnot. But it's still looking good for Leclerc, isn't it? But, well, Mercedes have got control of strategy for me.
Yeah, well, and the toe's going to be just as powerful in the race. So Leclerc, I know the first lap's a little bit different because obviously it's a bit bunched up, especially into turn 1. But even that first sector, we saw it last year, very easy for there to be incidents. So anyone's game. And Mercedes seem to have the better race pace. We saw that in Spa. So it's so up in the air. It really is. And if Vettel gets a penalty, Leclerc's going to be on his own out there at the front, a little bit like what we saw with Raikkonen last year. So maybe this is Mercedes to lose now.
I'm just saying, half listen to Vettel now whilst he's having his interview. I was saying about Mercedes having control, but I suppose Vettel can take that control away if he triggers the undercut, can't he? He's potentially fourth.
I mean, Ferrari's strategy is not always the best. is the understatement of the year. So yeah, it's going to be the mind games tomorrow, which is what one of the things I love about Formula One. Different strategies coming into play, and also in quali. Obviously, we saw at the end of Q1, I think it was 1.6 separated the field or the top 16. So that's going to be a big talking point of tomorrow, where they can find a gap to come in and do a stop.
It set us up. Oh, sorry, I'm going to have to completely change the mood here. Alex Peroni has apparently fractured a vertebra and will not take part in the race tomorrow. I don't think we're surprised at that last part, but looks like it was a huge accident for him. But yeah, just a quick update there. That's via Autosport. Alex Peroni has suffered a fractured vertebra, so wish him the best as well. As I said about Juan Manuel Correa, wish him a speedy recovery. But no, I don't think any great surprise, Dan. Again, I don't want to sort of keep pushing on with it, but no great surprise that he suffered something, because that was horrible. So just wishing him all the best, I guess.
Yeah, huge incident. Speedy recovery, hopefully for him.
I'll keep an eye on that. Obviously, again, I'll keep an eye on Twitter and whatnot, but I can't see them releasing the timings. But I'm just reading a couple of things there. They've just confirmed the top three: Leclerc, Hamilton, Bottas. A lot of investigation going on what was happening. And I think it was Luke Smith just tweeted that the scenes, if all of those ahead get penalties and Raikkonen gets pole, he himself has got penalties. What you were saying, Dan, on paper, if every single member of that top 10 gets a penalty, Gio starts on pole in his home Grand Prix in an Alfa Romeo.
I don't think anyone predicted that. And if they did, someone's earned some serious money there.
I don't know what to say. I do not know what to say. I can't see them publishing the results, so I'll go through it. I'll do it via the timing screens. If they do pop an image out, I'll throw it up, but if not, then it doesn't matter. I'll be live tomorrow anyway, so we can go over it then in a bit more detail. But Charles Leclerc is on pole position for second weekend in a row, of course. Fourth time this season, I think.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
And in Italy for Ferrari. His first outing for Ferrari Italy, and he puts it on pole. Can he get the win? 119.3. Lewis Hamilton, 4/100ths further back in second. Then it's Bottas in third, half a tenth behind. Vettel, a tenth and a half behind that. Ricciardo fifth. Hülkenberg in sixth. Carlos Sainz in seventh. He was 1.1 off the pace. Alex Albon didn't set a time. He was eighth. Lance Stroll ninth. And Kimi Raikkonen in 10th. None of those set times. Raikkonen obviously had his accident. He's all okay. Car doesn't look quite so good, though. Antonio Giovinazzi, potential pole sitter, in 11th place, 120.5. Kevin Magnussen on a 120.6 in 12th. 13th for Kvyat on a 120.6 as well. That was close. Norris a 121.0 in 14th. 15th for Gasly on a 21.1. Grosjean 16th on a 20.7, so quicker than Gasly and Norris went in Q2. What is it? Why is it FP whatever? Sergio Perez in 17th, 121.2. George Russell 18th, 121.8. And Robert Kubica 19th, so on a 22.3. Verstappen 20th. Stories from the day. Obviously, Verstappen, he had his mechanical issues in Q1, but he was starting from the back anyway. Sergio Perez pulled over with some more mechanical problems for Racing Point, but he's down in 17th place. Penalties as well for Gasly and Norris, and probably Raikkonen after his crash at Parabolica, so that's another story there. But I suppose, look, positive story, Daniel Ricciardo P5, fantastic drive. So far today, he was looking good for possibly top four, Dan. I don't think you're a million miles away with that one. Lance Stroll making it into Q3 is also, but I think the thing that everyone's going to take away from today in terms of the F1 is the farcical scenes we saw at the end of the session. If you are just tuning in, what was it, 9 cars, because obviously Kimi wasn't out there, 9 cars jostling for position, and only one managed to get across the line to start their final run, and that was Carlos Sainz. So absolute chaos. Farcical, amusing, but as a couple have pointed out in chat and also on Twitter, also quite unsafe. So I think the FIA might have words. If there aren't penalties thrown around, the FIA are definitely going to be sitting drivers down before Singapore, if not this weekend, and saying, come on, lads, so you can't do that. That was ridiculous. Again, amusing, but you have to look at every side of it. So, yeah, Carlos Sainz couldn't take pole. no toe. There was nobody ahead of him. There was nobody out there doing times. So, final thoughts, I guess, Dan, on what was a bizarre qualifying and what we might get for the race tomorrow now. I mean, like I say, ifs and buts and whatnot. What's the saying? If ifs and buts were candy and nuts, Gio could be on pole.
That's the closest racing we've seen all year long.
Oh.
we had the whole top 10 there. I'm so lost for words after that quali session, which is brilliant, which is what we want to have with Formula One. But I don't think anyone expected that. And like you say, we've still got more things to come tonight. Will there be penalties? Will Vettel lose his time? Oh, love it.
Do you think Vettel should lose his time?
I think so. I mean, I've only seen it once, but to me, he was 4 wheels over the white line. And if you're gonna, take people's times away in practice, you've got to do it when it actually matters in Q3.
Yeah, I'd agree with that one. Might go off and watch a couple of replays on that one. Just very quickly, they have actually published the watching me jig results from qualifying, but with the tweet, it said qualifying classification followed by stewards are investigating the climax to Q3. So the stewards are looking at what happened. So we could yet see penalties, and as Dan's pointed out, we could yet see something for Sebastian Vettel. What it does do, Dan, is whatever happens between now and the morning, if that grid remains as it is, it doesn't obviously because a number of drivers are getting penalties, but let's say that top 4 stays as it is, we've got a very tasty fight once again, second weekend in a row between Ferrari and Mercedes, very strategical I'd imagine, but also the Renault's ahead of a McLaren in Carlos, or both McLarens with Carlos sight 7th. That's going to get tasty. Alex Albon has got a bit of recovering to do from 8th, and we've got Max Verstappen coming from the back of the field. So I think we're set up, knock on wood, for a cracking race tomorrow, and rain is still on the forecast.
Oh, don't. That is far too tasty. I mean, this is a season where 5 races in, we all said it was boring. Definitely not anymore. And maybe that's jumping the gun a little bit for tomorrow, but like you say, if the grid stays as it is, we've still got plenty of stories to keep an eye on tomorrow.
Yeah, absolutely mental. Very much looking forward to it. Very quickly in chat then, we'll do some predictions tomorrow during the build-up to the race watch-along, but just let me know super quickly in a surname who's winning tomorrow's Italian Grand Prix. Go on then, Dan, before we finish up, mate, who's winning the race tomorrow?
I mean, probably Giovinazzi, to be honest. I'll just say that. He's got pole today. He's going to win tomorrow.
I'll stick with Leclerc because I said
yeah,
it.
A bit more sensible.
But after what happened this afternoon, who bloody knows? Stroll. It could be, who knows? Especially if we get a bit of rain. Something Stroll's very good at is working with cold tyres, as we all cracked, didn't we, a few weeks ago. So, yeah, who knows? It's going to be... I'm looking forward to it, Dan. But thank you very much for joining me for this. I love the qualifying streams because we just sit and talk nonsense for an hour and a half. But it was a pleasure as always, mate. And I think, putting him on the spot, because I haven't bothered to check, I think you're with me tomorrow for the race reaction as well?
Yeah, can do. Would love to.
Can do. Listen to him like I've not asked him already.
Can do. Yeah, I'll come along. I mean, I've just said Giovinazzi's going to win, so I probably don't know a fat lot about Formula One, to be honest. So if you'll have me, I'll show up.
Absolutely, mate. And I don't know if I forgot to ask Jonty as well. I don't know if Jonty's coming along, but I'd imagine he might have a few things to say on today's qualifying fast in the race reaction tomorrow, but I'll have a word with him later unless he lets me know in chat. But yeah, thank you very much, mate. And I'm sure I'll talk to you shortly.
Thanks very much, mate. I hope everyone enjoyed quali. I'll see you later.
Cheers, mate. Bye-bye. Yes, thank you to Dan. Thank you to all of you guys for tuning in. There is the full result, provisional result. Don't forget, Verstappen will be starting from down the back anyway. Gasly, he's got a penalty. Norris has got a penalty. Raikkonen will likely take a penalty for a gearbox change after that crash in qualifying. And the entire top 8, in fact, I throw Stroll in there as well, are all under investigation for what happened in Q3. And we still don't know if Vettel's going to get his time deleted. So watch this space. Make sure you follow me over on Twitter and all the F1. I'm sure you do. You're all very much up on your F1. But super quickly through the grid, provisionally starting on pole, Charles Leclerc ahead of Lewis Hamilton and Valtteri Bottas. Sebastian Vettel in 4th place. Daniel Ricciardo, a brilliant 5th. If you forget everything else that happened, that could be one of the stories of the day. Fantastic drive. And Hulkenberg as well, 6th place, a couple of tenths off his teammate. Carlos Sainz 7th, Alex Albon in 8th, Kimi Raikkonen 9th, Lance Stroll again, another cracking story from the day, making it into Q3. Very good from him. Antonio Giovinazzi 11th. God knows where I'll end up for the race tomorrow. He's gaining at least one place, I'd imagine. Kevin Magnussen in 12th, Daniel Kvyat in 13th, Lando Norris provisionally 14th, Gasly provisionally 15th, Romain Grosjean 16th, Sergio Perez 17th, Russell 18th, Kubica 19th, and Max Verstappen in 20th. Place. It was madness. But thank you very much for tuning in. Like I say, I will be back tomorrow at around about the same time, actually, about 1:30, maybe a little bit later, with the race Watchalong, with the live timings from Cool Timings, of course. Then it's the race reaction shortly after that. And then, of course, the race review will be out on Monday. Don't forget, though, in the meantime, that you can follow me over on social media. And all of the links you need for that are in the description down below. Deep breath. That was madness. Let's all go away and digest it and see if we find out what's going on with the stewards. But as ever, thank you for watching. I've been Sean. This has been the F1 Word. And until next time, goodbye.